back to the desk, guys, where we get ready for the second matchup of the day, which is LILAX going up against Cardboard Dinosaur. Jen Lee over here, and joining me right now will be Colton. So, hello.
I'm back, but I've switched seats. From caster, I've been tasked to take over Quack. You know, Quack just had, it was such a long series, so he was like, I'm just gonna go off. So I was like, okay, I'll take your place then. But...
You kicked him out though, right?
Yeah.
But lucky for us, this is where things get real because we have to say goodbye to two teams in total, but one of the two teams that are about to play. And LILAX, Cardboard Dinosaur, which one's going home? Just tell me already.
Whoa, you're putting me on the spot so fast. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to say I am leaning in favor of Cardboard Dinosaur. I think from the games that we've seen so far from them, albeit it's not a lot, but I'm looking at the past matches as well. I think Cardboard Dinosaur have a pretty strong team. LILAX, pretty new team, all things considered, a lot of new faces, and I think they might be struggling up against Cardboard Dinosaur here today. So I will say Cardboard Dinosaur will have the advantage in this matchup.
Yeah, okay. But the thing is though, I know you said we didn't see a lot of games from them, but the games that we did see was LILAX going up against Zipdo. And then Cardboard Dinosaur going up against Invincible GC, which is, Zipdo and Invincible GC, they're super strong teams. So, both teams today looking forward to kind of redeem themselves and get back into the groove, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think we have the team lineups ready. So yeah, let's take a look at the teams that we have here today. Cardboard Dinosaur and LILAX, excuse me.
LILAX.
Yeah, LILAX.
Okay.
We've got
LILAX.
Century, Nuki, Jelarak, Marpandi, as well as Mimo. I think this is a full Thai squad, so super cool to see them here in the playoffs. I think any Thai squad would love to be playing in Bangkok, right? Their home country. So I guess they have that kind of motivation going in for them, but it's going to be a tough task up against a pretty strong team on the other side.
When it comes to the style of how they play, how would you describe their play style?
Of LILAX, I think they rely quite a bit on the individual strengths. I don't think they have that sort of chemistry that we've seen from teams like Boba, as well as Sisu that we just saw, right? I think it's going to be a bit of a different style of play, but here is Cardboard Dinosaur. I think this team, another pretty strong team, all things considered. I think they were in stage 1 as well in the playoffs. They were known as Mommy's Kittens. But they've had
some familiar faces, but they leveled up to being dinosaurs.
From kittens to dinosaurs, they brought in a new player, which is Kikowo. She was previously on Team Sync Pink, and I think she is one of those up-and-coming stars on the team as well. She's a really cool fragger. Elfie is traditionally on a duelist role. Now she's coming into a bit more of a flex role for the team. And the rest of the team, right, Envious, Senpai, Pigruto, all veterans in the scene. They've been in Game Changers for as long as I can remember. So we got a couple of veterans with some new stars up against a fresh team in the form of LILAX.
And this will be the matchup that we should keep our eye on. The controllers, Jelarak versus Envious. Stat-wise, I think Envious has an upper hand.
Yeah, Envious, I think we
Definitely.
saw in the game versus was it in Invincible GC, she had a lot of very clutch rounds, and I think she has that veterancy that not a lot of players in Game Changers has, right? She has been playing on multiple teams. She knows how to operate within her team, assist them with all those smokes as well as paranoias as that Omen controller main. So really cool to see her still back in the scene, fragging out as always. But yeah, Jelarak, on the other side of things, I think she has a decent amount of potential as well. But it's gonna take more than what we've seen so far for them to beat Cardboard Dinosaur.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting how we put these two, next to each other, because Clove and Omen are two different types of controllers. But for LILAX, Nuki, right? Someone that needs to perform for the team to beat Cardboard Dinosaurs.
Yeah, she has a rather interesting role. She's been playing Phoenix for quite a number of their games. She's also been playing Sky as well as Reyna, so a bit of a flex player, a bit of the X factor. I think if LILAX wants to win, it might need to rely on a couple of the more supportive players such as Nuki to come alive to support their team, give them a little bit additional firepower. But yeah, speaking of their opponents, Samfire, another veteran in the scene. She is super solid in her role. If I'm not mistaken, she is like the initiator main. She's mainly on Sova. Plays the Breach, plays the Gecko as well. Always there to set up her teammates. And yeah, Copper Dinosaur will rely on her for a lot of those setups to really capitalize on a couple of frags. And I think she's pivotal as well for any kind of success that they will want here today.
So as you mentioned, tons of experience coming from Cardboard Dinosaurs. Let's talk about their previous matches though, because for LILAX, 13-1, 13-2 loss against Zipto.
Yeah, expected.
It's pretty normal for every other team in SEA, right? But the thing is, how does this team kind of, fresh in the scene, take this loss and kind of build on it?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is what they've learned from that series. Albeit it can kind of be a bit rough, but as you can see right here, map pool, we don't have too much data on this squad because they are a fresh team in the scene, right? This squad has not played in stage 1 of this year. A lot of new faces and a lot of opportunities to really put their name out there, right? This may not be their chance to really, top the playoffs, win the entire thing, but it's consistent performances and appearances like this that will give them experience, and maybe in the future they'll be the veterans that they are facing up against.
Next up is Cardboard Dinosaur. They actually managed to get Lotus off of Invincible GC, going all the way to OT. Also close map on Sunset, although the stats really don't show it, but I feel like they have a really good potential of making their map pool stronger.
Yeah, I think the map stats come from stage 1 as well. So it's the playoffs back then. So back a couple months ago, they faced up against Zipto as well as Aura Differential. They lost both series 0-2 fashion, so that's why the map stats are kind of it don't look too great. But like if you take into consideration the group stage matches as well, they've taken some good wins. They've taken down Penny Sitter, they've taken down Kitsune. A close matchup against Invisible GC twice this stage already. But yeah, let's take a look at the map view to see where we're gonna end up here today.
Okay, Find taken off the board, Ascent banned from CBD. Icebox is interesting. Lotus. Okay. What's next? Haven, ban, split ban, then the decider map, we go to Sunset. Now, Icebox is kind of interesting because I feel like LILAX, when you look at their stats, they have a pretty good win rate on Icebox from what I've checked. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for CBD, Icebox is somewhere in a map that they would like to avoid as much as they can. So yeah, interesting pick.
I think it makes sense. It's hard to really say for certain what maps LILAX are gonna be the best at because the map pool has not been tested too much. They've only had a couple of runs on Icebox up against teams that I personally wouldn't rate them too highly. So yeah, they did have wins. They are technically 2-0 on that map in this stage, but I think it does give them a good shot because, as you mentioned, right, it's Copper Dinosaur. Their map win rate on Icebox has not been very great. It's been 25%, won once, lost thrice. But then we have to look into a little bit of the context. Why, right? They went up against Sisu, Invincible GC, and Full Sense Pink. Sorry, yeah, Full
teams
Sense
of
Pink.
higher caliber, right? Yeah.
Pretty decent reputation, all things considered. So again, we have to take into in consideration, the strength of the teams they face against, but then the map pools, they don't really play that much. So hard to say for certain, but still, I think it is a decent map choice coming from LILAX. Understandable. They see weaknesses in this map of Copper Dinosaur, and we'll see. We'll see if they can capitalize and expose those weaknesses.
What do you think about Lotus though? Do you feel like they have equal chance, or it's like Cardboard Dinosaur all the way?
Oof, Lotus is an interesting one because there's a lot of map data on Carbo Dinosaur. This is by far, in a way, their most played map for Carbo Dinosaur. Very comfortable on it. A couple of close games, Invincible GC, Sisu as well mentioned in the most recent matches. They did win out Invincible GC, a super close match though, 14-12. But I think again going, match at least map for map up against Lotus of LILAX. Couple of decent wins, but again, it's teams that we don't really have too much information on. Teams that haven't made it to the playoffs yet.
Yeah.
Watermelon, Lavana, Estrella, Iris. Not teams that we're too familiar with. So again, I do think Carbo Dinosaur has a little bit of advantage in the map pick there. It makes sense as well, right? The most played map, the map that they're most comfortable with. So very cool to see how I guess the map veto kind of pans out for both teams.
Yeah, but for LILAX though, winning Icebox would be crucial if they do want to walk away with that W and survive another day in the playoffs. Agent Select will have to wait for a little bit, so we have some time to kill. So let's have a debate on, what the logo for LILAX is. I was thinking, is it a snow fox? Is it a cat? What else can it be? Is it a minx? I don't think it's a mouse.
Surely it's a cat, right? I think cats are pretty popular mascots for teams. It does look like a cat. Has like the two ears are pretty obviously feline-ish, I think. There's like the button nose, which indicates to me it's probably a mammal. Actually, I don't know why I said mammal, but it doesn't have a snout, right? If it's a snout, maybe it could be a fox. But the fact that
not a reptile though, right?
I don't think reptiles
not
are
a furry reptile, yeah.
Unless I haven't been doing my biology, I don't think it's furry reptiles. Unless someone has been like crossbreeding some stuff.
Don't do that. I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
We need this guy as a mascot though. I think that would be cool.
But yeah. Do we have to wait? Oh, there you go.
Here we go.
Agent Select for Icebox. Okay. Though I feel like the logo might be Snow Fox. Okay,
Unfortunately,
so we get Reina versus Reina.
Okay. Oh wait, it's an animal face-off. Sorry, I'm a bit off track. It's a dinosaur versus a cat. Just realized.
That's what I've been telling you. Yeah.
It's the first animal face-off we have here in the playoff.
Is dinosaur an animal though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, dinosaurs don't exist anymore, so
Yeah.
LILAX, at least their mascots are alive in current modern day.
What are you saying?
I'm just going on a
What
bit
I'm
of a
saying,
rant.
we have to talk about the agent comp. Because I guess cardboard dinosaur, it's pretty common, I guess. It's something that we see.
The clove is something very interesting though, I will say, for LILAX. They have been picking it. So I don't expect it to be uncomfortable for them. They've tried a deadlock. Doesn't seem like it's something they want to go on with. Nuki just opting for the Reina. A little bit more simplistic, but also with that steamroll potential. Carbo Dinosaur on the other side of things. They've tried the Harbor, but I think going back to, again, that Reina and the Viper, the tried and true comp, just sticking with the basics, sticking with the raw aim and firepower, I think that is the key for both of these teams.
Okay, now I think we're ready to jump into Icebox, so it's time to toss it over to our beautiful casters, Pilsky and Tash Bunny. So I've been thinking of their duo name. You guys can choose Pill Bunny or Tashki.
Yeah, I'll let
What
you
is
do
it?
the. I think Pill Bunny sounds a bit more.
Pill Bunny?
Yeah,
Pill
sounds-
Bunny?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm keen for this game. You know what, Tash? This is going to be Senderi's 20th game of playing Clove in a row. It doesn't matter what the map is. We play Clove. So let's go. Let's see a Clove specialist duking it out on Icebox.
I like that.
That's going to be hard to get into some of those sites, I think.
Yeah, coming into this one, I love seeing that Sage as well. I think we've seen Paper X run Sage as well for this map, and Jing can go really aggressive, it can go really defensive, depending on what you want. Off angles can be played as well. But coming into this one, a LILAX, brand new comer into a game changer C, alongside Cardboard Dinosaur, a team that's had quite a name here for this stage. showing up, especially on this one. Loving seeing the return of Samfire and Envious to the big stage, as well as Yuki for this one. So definitely a return of the OGs alongside their newer teammates.
100%. I mean, yeah, we saw the core of this team playing last season. I think they made it into the playoffs, so pretty solid stuff from them 2 seasons in a row in towards the playoffs. They don't want to get knocked out in the lower round yet again. So we'll see how they go here today against LILAX. Seems like Cardboard Dinosaur want to fight pretty heavily for B long here early on, Tash, and LILAX going to go heavily towards middle.
Love this pressure coming in toward mid, but a little bit more passive play on A site. BD coming forward. Wealthy. Completely popping the head of Elsandri, but missed little Marpandies, excuse me, saying the name quite wrong there. It's going to be answering back with 2 in hand as well. A lot of trades coming in for both teams as quickly. See a Sage Wall over mid side to deny a little bit more space coming forward. Alarm bot as well. Gonna be used there at the same time. Nemo, what the heck is that? Turns around, pops the head. Samfire forced to give away her space. Over on Boiler. It's a 1-on-3 rough position to be in for CBD.
Yeah, a lot of time already ticked off the spike, unfortunately, for Samfire. Darting some shockies to work with, but too far out of position. I think it's really just a question of farming up some ult orbs, seeing what damage she can try to inflict at this point, because there's no time to get this clutch done any which way. Nano popped to kind of zone her, maybe intended to be over towards on the spike, but there you go. Jellerax going to close it out. Tash, and that's a nice pistol win early on for LILAX to start off their map pick very, very well.
LILAX looked really good. I mean, their last time they played was, what, 13-2 over on the qualifiers? I mean, in CBD, they had quite a devastating loss just recently against Sisu, 13-5. So, sort of give an idea to us on who's a little bit more better on this map. But again, CBD playing against a team like Sisu, that's already such a, a statement in itself. Regardless, round 2, let's see if the anti-eco would still remain onto the LILAX hands, and the Aldrone taken out quickly as Envious does as well. Elfie still holding on to the off angle, will be punished. Jillarakas as well. Love this aggression coming into it. B main taking control of that and noting that previously in the gun round they had held that as well. Yuki and Kiko answers. It's all about just finding the last final member. Samfire as well. Quick and easy. Just like the doctor ordered.
Yeah, nice anti-eco. You're bringing into the bonus 3 Bulldogs and a Guardian, so pretty nice looking bonus, all things considered. Sender is going to get Vandal light armor and still buy down to around 2k, so it's going to be a pretty solid looking buy on the bonus going up against the first gun around here. Interested to see how they continue to kind of tackle this map with the Clove. You can see the deep smoke in towards Snowman there. They're using the Sage Wall for a fair bit of cover to cross mid in previous rounds. Obviously, traditionally see the Viper and sometimes mixed in with the Harbor on this map. So only playing Simple Controller on the Clove is definitely a different approach. Sage Wall straight across middle. They're trying to fake that they're going mid to B and walk up A, and they have actually pulled rotations away. All of B long taken by Cardboard Dinosaur though, so they've got a lot of information and a pretty quick flank for this A play the longer that LILAX take to actually kick it off.
Samfire took up so much space onto B already, but it's A all along. Coming in forward. Aldron just clear out, sussing at anyone in the backside. Finds no one. Nuki walking straight onto the side. Full control onto the area. Mimo just so quick on that Samfire to answer back. Regardless, we're gonna be able to go through as many rounds as possible with these guys. The next one, Kiko finds one, and here comes the revive. So quick from Jillera. Round 3 already. Nuki from the backside as well. A lot of space denied and space taken away by LILAX. As we see the final 3 members try to go for this retake. Sprays all around Sindari and Yuki. Nice crossfire to come through. Elfie still very much alive, but not before Yuki has something to say about it.
Wow, bonus 1 that cleanly. You come away with 3 rifles into another anti-eco. I mean, this pick of Icebox is looking really good for LILAX. Nuki's running around the server on the Reyna, winning all her angels. That's exactly what you want to be seeing from your Reyna on this map. And, given the fact that, Cardboard Dinosaur was into the playoffs last stage, they are the team with the more kind of game changers playoff experience here. They played a lot of top teams as well. Looking at their games recently against Sisu and Invincible, you'd be backing them in this matchup. you know, or at least I would. But so far from what we've seen from LILAX, it's been very, very solid.
This round, Envious is gonna be taking a little bit more proactive measures toward this mid-side area. Probably remembering how much pressure LILAX has put toward there. But that's been the problem. LILAX, every round has been a change for them, whether it be A aggression, B aggression, or mid. Gamble for CBD not paying dividends this time around. Only sheriffs in hand, but these past 3 days, we've seen quite a number of insane thrifties all around the area. You have the plant coming through a little bit more deep. Just cutting off that area onto bridge side as Marpandes and Yuki gets 1 each. Pushing all the way toward Snowman, finds nothing. Noted the position of the player of CBD there. She's quite low, Elfie. Needs to ever get a kill. The thing about Reina is that you want to be able to get those pickoffs, get those situations where you're able to reposition yourself. Lara still playing very safe with their teammates here. Sundari with 1, Yuki as well. What a swing, and that is teamwork! LILAX showing us their prowess on this map, and CBD no way to answer at all.
Yeah, I mean, another really great round. Look at the economy now for LILAX. Early on here, going to have plenty of money to continue contesting this attacking half. Not that it's looking that closely contested, if I'm honest. So far, Cardboard Dinosaur haven't really got into it too much. But we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Empress is all night for both sides. Not that close to too many big impact ults just yet. And for LILAX, it's been very much a lot of pressure on B and middle. Again, that seems like their approach early on here. Going to be dart to orange, and wall goes up, and another mid to be on the cards here, Tash.
Very quick onto the side, playing off that Lear. Yuki getting dividends from that Reina. Tora as well. She hasn't really...
Why does it look so easy?
I don't even know, man. Just a quick swing, the util come through. Pigruto over here in kitchen all alone. Let's just put the head of Mimo first, and Mimo is very careful not to put a single pixel out into the area, finds no one. So, all idea that kitchen might be clear is here, so Mimo getting the right timing would be phenomenal for them. Pigruto goes out, there we go. Timing. Mimo doing well on this one as Elfie, once again, the final person left standing, pops 1 head as well as that Lear. Finally get the reposition, goes for 2, overheal, but Marpandes stops the bleeding.
Yeah, they've got to call a timeout or something. Like, this approach is not working for Cardboard Dinosaur. Back down on another half bite here. They're kind of getting the big site just hammered round in, round out. Whether it's a pretty straightforward approach going out through B long towards you know, yellow, and then just kicking off that B execute, whatever variation they're running, or whether it's that mid to B, it's not something that Cardboard Dinosaur's been able to stop. And looking at their comp, they need to use these duelists as solutions, or potentially just set up that yellow hold. Like, honestly, looking at the comp that LILAX is running, they cannot break a good yellow hold. If you're going to put like a full Killjoy setup and a one-way over on B long towards yellow, that's not something that LILAX can really deal with the comp that they're running. They're only running the single initiator. They don't have the jet to dash across, so that could be something that works very well for CBD. Other than that, they just need to get more info around the map and be a little bit more proactive with the duelists. Like, they need to get a duelist deep down A, get that deep info line, or do a close B long setup with the duelists, which they have run that 3-player B long setup a couple of times, but LILAX just swings them and wins the duels. So we'll see what they come up with after this timeout. Definitely a couple of different approaches, but I think just looking at what LILAX's comp does and just abusing that is what CBD needs to realize here. But post timeout, you already see LILAX going for the change up here, Tash. They're going towards A for the first time outside of the mid to B fake into A.
Here. Be a good read, honestly. But let's see how this one goes. You want to see Envious come online? We haven't seen that quite yet. We talked a lot about how Envious previously on SMG was one of the most star players all around, sharp as she is. Fortunately for today, we haven't seen that quite yet. Bit of a quiet start here for this game. Micro angle gives Mimo all the info she needs about where Envious could be. So that itself is already a bit of an information that A might be a weaker round. Still holding down the line, and Elfie this time around will be the one who gets the value from this push. Just sort of punishing Mimo for daring to hold up a little bit too long, much longer than she should. Pop comes through, Pigruto good for 1, and these sheriff plays can be deadly. Our Pandies from the top side here finds no one. Envious walks up. But here, not dead yet. Here to play as well as our Pandies. Good for 2. Envious will be able to get one more. But that revive twice in a row already just into round 6. Doing dividends. Getting all those pickoffs and all those alt orbs as well. Making it so hard for CBD to recover when your teammates just get revived over and over again.
You get 7 players in the server. That doesn't seem fair.
So true.
That's broken. This is the new meta comp, Tash. We're watching it unfold before our eyes. See, though, after the half buy is done, I mean, decent attempt from CBD has to be said. Forced out a lot of those ults with the revives, as you mentioned, and did try to get more active across the map, right? So looking forward in towards this gun round. Let's see what they've come up with to getting close to a lot of big impact ults coming online. Lockdown, as well as the Pit and the Hunter's Fury almost there for CBD, and they're getting active up here on Belt, but pushed off the line after a little bit of damage done to Nuki here.
Shock Dart just to clear out those areas. Finds no one. Yuki gonna get a little bit of a top up at least, so everything back to ground zero, but not before the amount of usage used already. Bit of a quieter round might be potentially be an A re-hit. Kiko might be able to suss that out here, moving all the way up to B long. And the beautiful thing, we'll see how LILAX plays. The aggression, how they just completely aggress and explode onto the site. We're potentially gonna be seeing that once again. Here comes the Lear. Spots no one. Envy is good for 1, not before a trade back out. LP as well. There. Just really band-aid the area. In this situation, for the first time, we're seeing a CBD with a man-to-man advantage. Elfie finally popping off, finally finding that value. LILAX displaced. Elfie, good to hold. You know exactly where she is, but no clue where the final person would be as Pigruto. Could just end that round. Took a few rounds, but CBD finally get a point on the board.
And that's the adaptation that you needed to see. You had the Viper down mid, full info in mid. The Killjoy was down B long, full info on B long, and the initial aggression towards A main. They could read exactly what LILAX was doing. LILAX rather, and with only the single initiator comp that they're running, they can't really break these lines without playing contact, and that's where Elfie just punishes. She's just holding lines, spamming the dismiss, and winning these aim duels when LILAX tries to contact up into the site, and that's exactly how you have to play this comp as CBD when you're running the double duelist. There's the Pit over on A. Trying to dissuade LILAX from ending towards that A site, and once again, down mid, getting a lot of info is Envious. Down B long with the Reyna. Elfie, unfortunately, not a great timing for her.
Walks up, pops ahead. It's been the recurring theme for this map, at least for LILAX. And yes, at least for the fight with their own. Oh, make it 2! What a hole there! All the way over onto their own spawn. Mimo from the mid side, at least gonna fight Kiko, answering back. Almost full control of B side now. Fully in their favor. Gets a bit of an overheal, a bit of a top up here. Sundari, our one tricker, showing us why she is one of the most scariest cloves that is to be feared. Smokes all around Samfire. Has a bit of idea someone might be close underneath her. Moves out of the way. Clears it out, but doesn't check underneath of the bridge itself. Brings me a bit of worry there. Coming up forward, there we go. That's the area. We'll give a bit of value onto Sundari, not before Pigruto shuts her down, but with only 30 HP left and 2 members to go, it's a tall ask. The amount of util coming up forward, as well as the pressure. Tall ask to come through, takes a bit of space. A crossfire setup already perfectly done. And LILAX takes back the round. CBD, once again, lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I mean, denying the aggression from the Reyna on B long is an excellent start, and despite the fact that Envious catches 2 on the cross back from A there, I think what LILAX does best is just the basics, right? They're just going into these sites together, you know, setting themselves up some favorable scenarios. It's a simple approach, you know, where straightforwardly they're just working together, throwing like these high percentage pieces of util, not doing anything fancy, but it's working really, really well for them. And their players are just winning these duels a lot more consistently. Again, a very straightforward approach. They're losing the whole map right now, guys. You got Reyna down 2, full A info, but it's a drone onto B, and LILAX just says, you guys can have the whole map, and if we can just execute this B site right and set up a good post plant, we're going to win this round.
Alarm bot does get triggered, but Kiko can't do anything for that. Pigruto does buy some time with that snake bite. Going onto the side. Fakes. Going up that rope as well. Sundari. Very forward aggressive angle. This wall denies a lot of space and info. At the same time, CBD forced to play a little bit more aggressive and gets good for one. Sundari. This is going to be a very proactive with that. And so does Yuki. Who's attack, who's defense is the question at this point. And Fizz moving up can't get any value from Blade Storm. Empire, oh lord, cannot get dividends. Question marks all around, and LILAX, they make this map look so easy on attack side.
They do, and it's just basic teamwork. It's just them swinging together, playing the comp the way it is, you know, double smokes from the Clove onto B with a wall across Snowman, and all of the girls just push over into Snowman. You love to see it. CBD just do not seem to have an answer for that. If they're not winning these duels in the early to mid round, they're just not winning the rounds. We've got too many players that are way too quiet. And at the end of the day, you got a team running at you, just running these executes over and over again. If you don't slow them down, yeah, I mean, Elfie has been really the main person having impact for CBD, right? If she finds openers, they can potentially win this round. We saw that over on the A side. So there you go. A nice opener from her. Gives the player advantage over to CBD. They got the Hunter's Fury as well for the mid to late round. And LILAX is very tentative trying to breach B here.
Honestly, the LILAX have been doing pretty much the same thing over and over.
Out of charges.
Yep.
Finally, after 10 rounds, finally they have an answer to that mid push. Jalerex is just walking up and just walling without any punishment until this particular round. Regardless, Lear comes through, shock dash just to clear out that util once again. B side completely in their hold. And here comes the lockdown as well. Legendary not dead yet will be used. The problem is Collabs looks amazing for CBD this time. Flawless round. They get it. As you mentioned before, Pilsky, that opener was everything for CBD to be able to just win it.
Yeah, up in numbers and just rotating a bit more heavily and actually like respecting that LILAX isn't going to have anything on the lurk, that they're just all committing in towards that B site. You know, you need to, you know, sometimes you fall into these habits of playing certain teams over and over again, and then you play a team like this with a certain style where there is no lurk on middle. It's just, you know, 5 players committing to something, and you need to respect that and adapt. You need to actually rotate to where the threat is and fight together. And CBD did that a lot better that last round. Here's this full A info for Envious. Down B long, Elfie winning another opening duel, and CBD reaping the rewards of that.
This looks great, honestly, if you think about it. More proactive instead of reactive. LILAX have been punishing CBD for that reactive play. Taking matters into their own hands. Miss Marpandi is gonna find no one with this owl drone. Slowly making their way up here. Will be found by that util, and CBD just react off it.
Swarm grenade.
Massive, massive round for them. Still out here. Have this up in hand, trying to spot out one member. Swaps the gun. Slowly but surely making their way down B long.
Orb will give res here if Jalarat can get it. A killer and Orb. Full A info here for Envious, so they can really heavily stack towards this B side here, Tash.
There we go. The util use Elfie, an unmovable force here in B long. Felt like quite a long time for them to really understand how to play this. But good for CBD, they managed to bring back 2 rounds in a row.
I mean, 100%. Like, Elfie is having so much impact, but this is how everyone on the team needs to be playing. Like, Kiko were also swinging in off that contact towards B long. Like, they need to stop giving so much respect to LILAX. They are the team with the playoffs experience. They are the team with the game-changing experience from last stage. Like, they just need to get in the face of LILAX, because exactly like you said, LILAX has been running very similar strats, the same or very similar kind of game plan over and over again, same approach. And it's taken a while for CBD to not only adapt to that, but at least, especially these duelists, start to win some duels and play with a bit more confidence and wake up a little bit. And that's where they started to find a lot more success and a lot more impact.
LILAX has 2 ults to play with. You have the revive once again, and Marpandi's with the Hunter's Fury. Potentially could not just clear the area, but also to deny that post-plant defuse. And Jiller, I think this is her 3rd or 4th ultimate already. They've been funneling all those ult orbs onto her. Granted, how many ult orbs you need to be able to achieve that also. Could be something that potentially could work. But let's see whether or not LILAX could bring this back. Being able to get a 9 would be the greatest moment for them, honestly, if they really want to snowball it into
Love
the next
this
half.
from CBD. Double ops coming out. Only the single initiator. Very hard to push an op off the line with this comp. And the drones used 10 seconds into the round.
Oh, there we go.
Spot out one of them, but
Attacker
you can't drone every angle. You're going to be losing picks somewhere, and that's a perfect example of it. And that res is dead in the water now.
There we go. Good pick as well as Envious. This reposition to admit may be a massive. Let's spot one more out. Aldron gonna jade her, but Nuki a bit sharper. Rushing toward A side here, knowing that one op has been displaced. I'm not sure if they do know there is still one more.
Probably not. Not at this stage. In towards A now. It's a contact play, which is exactly how LILAX has to play now that they've used the drone. Up on top of Belt here, Tash. A lot of close positions, but there's 2 defenders here.
Surely Samfire. They just swing out of smoke and they get value from that. Gonna find one more. Good hold. Nice collapse onto the site, crunching every single member of LILAX as they hold the site. Yuki finds herself all alone. But pressure mounting on her shoulders. Empress will be popped. Lear as well will be used. Nearly gets tagged by Effie, but Kiko is the one to find her over in the front line, and it will be a 4-8. No curses happening here. So that'll be that. Regardless, let's toss it over our analyst to see what exactly can CBD do to catch up.
8-4 for the first half. Now, Holden, I was like, what the heck is going on? LILAX, you know, maybe there's a reason why they wanted to take the first battle onto Icebox, but CBD definitely found their response at the end, towards the end of the first half, which was not paying too much respect. My question is, though, can we say that LILAX have a strong Icebox, judging from what we've seen on the first half?
I think that LILAX actually has some pretty interesting ideas. You saw them always using interesting sage walls, particularly towards the B side. It's always to wall off the back of the B side and then they push into Snowman. The other one that they like to use was towards mid that they constantly abused until one round where Elfie, you know, stood onto that mid window towards Tube and actually shut them down. So it's those little kinds of maneuvers that I think caught CBD kind of off guard. They weren't really sure how to counter that, but we saw a little bit of resurgence, right? Elfie coming alive, finding those impact frags. Envious and Kiko actually swapping agent roles. So Envious used to be Killjoy, Kiko used to be Jet. I think because they were struggling on Icebox, so they had to change up roles. Elfie was a Harbor, now she's on Arena. So a lot of changes. I think they're getting into the groove of things, but we need to see that consistently throughout the second half. The duelists need to be aggressive on their defense to really put up a strong showing here on this map. If not, LILAX might run away with things.
I feel like 8-4 is not a bad score for either team, so we have to see what happens in the second half. Hopefully both teams can continue putting up numbers and give us a show. So I'm gonna toss it back to our casters, Pill Bunnies. I don't know, you guys take it.
Where did that Z come from, huh?
Plurals, Tash.
Plurals.
Plurals.
Not an S, huh?
What? Not what?
Not an S. Plural with an S. You know what? Never mind.
Plurals with an S.
Yes, plurals with an S. Regardless, Mr. Pill Bunnies. Coming into this half, CBD 4 rounds away, but LILAX, if they manage to get the pistols, might potentially turn into a snowball for them.
Yeah, it's about to be an absolute bloodbath at B-Long here.
There.
3 players over here. Envious winning the first all of them going the way of CBD. And you asked what they need to get back into the game of the analysts. I think you're getting the answer of it.
Masterclass, if you think about it. Mimo all alone here over on Snowman. Can't take that space away. This almost feels like deja vu, but on the other end, that space denial has been taken away from CBD earlier, doing the same. Marpandes finds one, and so does her teammate. Gonna break those utils with that shock darts. But 2-on-4. A very, very difficult game to play here. Shock darts to clear out the angle. Kiko playing very, very close. 35 HP to play with. Shock darts all around. Nemo with 20. Elfie is here. Kiko just really... just tie on those last strings. Excuse me. My brain just ended there, but so did that round.
Don't worry, Tash. Only 5 more maps to go. All right, stay with us. I'm here for the wild ride. That was a nice pistol from CBD though. That's going to be a lot of momentum for them. I think they really kind of had the momentum at the end of that last half after getting pummeled for 6 or 7 rounds straight at the start of things. So, you know, winning the majority at the end of the half and then pistol, it's a completely different game now. They can start playing with a bit more confidence with these double duelists on attack. Be proactive, be aggressive, and get in the face of LILAX a little bit more.
Really hope for Envious to really come online on this round, and she does. Goes straight onto the side itself. Sanderi was ready for her. She dashed straight to the crosshair, but not before CBD is there for the answer. Pushing up forward, Elfie. That is confidence in the bottle if I've ever seen one. Rifle in hand, finds Yuki. Nemo left to her devices here alongside Jillarat with only a Bucky in hand. I do have some smokes for Sanderi. We'll be able to play at close angles, but look at this post-plant crossfires all around. Big ask for LILAX here, so might be at the end for them. Kiko finds one, and so does Samfire. Here you go. Finally closing up the big gap from the half.
A lot closer now. Couple Spectres in the bonus. Going to be a little bit less dangerous of a bonus. I'm keen to see here how LILAX do kind of adjust as they've changed their comp a little bit, playing the Sage instead of the Deadlock. Can definitely change how you want to approach your defense. And we are going to get a tech pause, so they're going to have a little bit more time to think about that. Judge straight away for Jellarak. I respect it, honestly. Judge B-Long on the Sage. Why not?
I mean,
unfortunately, if CBD does commit to the side of the map that they're looking at, I'm not sure she's going to get much of a chance to use it.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to say that we did see quite a number of Judge plays the last few days, which honestly, which blew my mind, because some of those Judge rounds that they shouldn't be winning were won, so might be able to get away with that. But coming into this one for Cardboard Dinosaur here, already 5 in a row chained. That's what I want to see from them. But this tech pause, my question is whether or not it would sort of like kill the momentum.
Maybe. We'll see. I think they're feeling pretty comfortable. Like, they're going into the bonus here with pretty good guns. 2+K on all of these players. Couple of rifles, couple of Spectres. You know, you kind of reserve your expectations. If you're able to win the bonus here, you're off to the races. If you're able to take at least 3 guns, you're happy with it. Looking at where the KJ util is placed, though, for Mimo, it's going to really restrict her movement. Usually, you know, you want to put your turret backside of kitchen if you put your alarm bot over on yellow there, so that you can have some mobility towards B-Long. But, you know, if she rotates one way or the other, it's only going to be one piece of her util that stays up, unless she literally sits the entire round in orange. So that could be a problem when it comes to the late lurk timings out being long, or someone slipping through under tube, something like that. We'll see if that ends up being a problem.
Yeah, but
loving what we're seeing from Senderi. I respect it. Just pick an agent and stick to it, you know? I try too hard, Tash.
So you're a one-trick wonder too, huh?
Stuff. No, I try to play all kinds of different stuff, you know? I'm in the ranked queues. I'm going 10 for 10 every game. And at the mercy of whether I have some, you know, cracked 17-year-olds on my team. But Senderi, she just says, I'm going to play game changers. I'm going to go in the playoffs, and I'm playing 20 games of Clove, and I don't care what the map is.
Nothing wrong with the Clove. Can play as aggressively and defensively as you want, as Jillarat will will vault to her hands with that Outlaw. Lear expanded already, finds no one. Envious this time. Lots of utility use, have to cross by, finds Marpandi's there close. Sanderi is here as well, so fortunately for her, not able to push up forward because of those lows. Both all around buys a little bit more time. Yuki with the very aggressive high ground held. Spots one out thanks to the Aldrone, but so can be said about Sanderi. Metal thrown out here as well as CBD, the other members saying, okay, we have already drawn out as many util as we can. Lost 2 members.
Nice.
Make it 3.
Gorgeous.
As they just move straight into B site. The utility here, you could see how much control Mimo has, and quick rotations all around as well. So, like it or not, MDS has to go a little bit more proactive. Finds one. Good to find Marpandi's. Can he go for 2 here? Gonna be pops all around here. Nemo not able to hold, but Jelera and Yuki will be the one to band-aid the round as they go to 9.
Nicely done. Just reacting to that A pressure. Judge was sold and an Outlaw was purchased, and that turned out to be a very good decision. As I was kind of mentioning, you know, Mimo had to be aware that, you know, with her util spread the way that it was, you could get some lurk timings out B long, and it's exactly what you saw from Kikoa there. I'm not sure if the alarm bot was taken away or if she did just lurk up towards B long there, but good positioning from Mimo, just allowing the rest of LILAX to stack towards A and keeping an eye on the under 2 walk and the B contact play.
No peeking.
2-1-2 from CBD here, and the duelists are getting very active towards both extremities right now, Tash.
Envious this time taking a little bit more of a passive approach. Her teammate not close enough. Sindari up here close on the top side. Both players sustaining quite a bit of damage, but no harm, no fault, at least until this push from Envious will happen. Moves back a one-way setup as well. So, then a drop, put in the noise, put in the util as well. Sunfire checking once again, trading off their util. Aldrones both used as well, so Kikoa all alone on a B long here, forced to wait and buy some time as her teammates join her over on B long.
Yeah, it's the same round again. A lot of A pressure, trying to pull rotations across, which they did. Jelarak coming back on in, trying to find the right duel. Beautiful shot from her to thin the numbers before CBD can get comfortable on this B site. And to see LILAX just chilling now. Sender has been lost in the meanwhile on the mid lurk from Elfie. She's now applying a lot of pressure through the middle of the map, and Pegruto getting that spike down, Dash.
Now here comes the wall from Pegruto, just slicing the map in half. Kikoa finds 1, 2, in fact, no! Marpani's quick on the reposition. Unfortunately, for Samfire, spotted out here already. Her teammate is here to answer. At the very least, a very close round, but CBD looks strong. Same thing over and over. Both teams doing that, but it's all about that adjustment and outplay.
Yeah, that's where, as LILAX, you need to be aware that this B lurk is continually being a problem and not give that much space. And that's what I was saying about the util placement on the KJ. This time, placing both of those pieces of util towards middle can very much limit whether you can place like an off angle on yellow or jump swap B long, get on that B info line. If you lose all A control, you usually want to take space or info somewhere and not just play, you know, blanket passive. But you saw the downside of playing so passive is that CBD is able to just cut sound on A and head back to B off the back of that Killjoy lurk. This time they're being a little bit more straightforward about their approach though, Tash.
Oh, look at the blades come up forward. Spots a little Nemo, unfortunately whiffs, goes down, whoop, knife out. But she still gets one! Her teammates are there to answer. Mimos and Derry, 1 each. Marpandi's with the shock dart. Crazy shot coming up forward. These utils are giving so much dividends. One by one, the members of CBD fall. Kikoa, the final person left alive. A big ask from her. And the only guns in LILAX's hands were just half buys.
Yeah, they were good. They were on a half buy. Like, I don't know how this has gone so well for them. See if Kikoa can win this 1-on-3 though. Able to steal the spike away, maybe? Gonna peek over onto Snowman. Spots out the Marshall at least.
Gonna hide away from that util. Pika once again gonna use the turret just to give a bit of idea. They do break it with the Outlaw. Already marking Marpandi's placement. Throwing the storm grenade, clearing out the area. A lot of question marks in her mind. Where to look, where to check. That's 1. Can she go for 2 is the questions. 69 HP. Can't do more than that. Dilara with that Marshall. Unmovable. And Snowman is her playground.
That's a huge round for LILAX to win though. Couple of rifles picked up, but that really puts a dent in the money for both Pegruto and Kikoa. Like, you can see that, you know, Samfire, Envious, Elfie, they've got a little bit of cash, but that actually breaks the money for 2 of the members. And when you're already, you know, trying to chase down a scoreline deficit like this, you are not in a great place. Big economy screen in the favor of LILAX. Not only do they have a fair bit of cash in the back pocket from picking up those 2 rifles that you can see on Senderi and Mimo, but now they're going into the anti-eco to potentially get even further ahead and push things up to 11-7. But look, if LILAX can win an eco, so can CBD. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and there is space to actually lurk up 2 here if they take advantage of that. Drone goes into A. That doesn't really pull too much of a reaction here for LILAX. They're still just kind of spread around the map.
That's done. My ultimate is ready.
That is disgusting. Oh, she was so quick on that Kiko. Showing us a little bit of a taste of what she has to offer with her own raw aim.
Take flight.
Our pandies doing due diligence, clearing out kitchen here. You can see the Viper wall just spread on over onto B site.
Bomb grenade out.
Mimo playing a little bit safe, waiting for her teammates to potentially play together. That Nanoswarm does buy some space, but for Envious, she's gonna be the one winning this. Fortunately, Mimo finds herself with her util in hand. Traded out at very least, where Pandies is here. Top side of the area just to find, see if any pixel is out of sight. Gets tagged, and Hunter's Fury to come through as well. Samfire looking for the right time to swing out. Sindari good for one as well. But Effie, being Elfie, doing what she does best, being Reyna and swinging, and Sindari and Barpandies punishes. And there we go, LILAX showing us why this map is one of the highest win rates for them as they go for this defuse, bringing them to 11.
It's a good position to be in. Definitely taken a fair bit of damage in that round, but this is where the game starts to change now. A lot of big ults coming up for both teams into this next gun round. Pit, Lockdown, Hunter's Fury on CBD. These are the kind of rounds that kind of play themselves. If you've built up the reps in practice, just being able to put yourself into a position where you can get that lockdown down into a pit can get you a really, really easy gun round. You can chain those ults together, but seems like they're just sticking to a bit more of a straightforward approach. 3-1-1, taking some B long control here. The LILAX, they're getting a bit more active towards middle this round.
B long. Once again, CBD doing what they do best, taking out space as fast as they could. Util popped already, buys them a bit of space, though it's slow. And finally, Jillerak moved away from their area. No man. You can hear the Empress on the other end. Popped already, taking this fight. Samfire, as well as a teammate, being more proactive and taking up this space, denying as well. But where is this fight going on? To A, Kiko already on the A side itself. Good array by my Pandies. Quickly rotating over Kiko. She's able to really hold and just catch them off guard. This could be huge. They hear the sound of the footsteps all around the Lear to come through, and the one to come up on top will be Kiko. Marpandies go for the trade. Over onto this end, you can see the pit already dropped as well. Marpandies good to get out. Samfire finds her counterpart. Crosses from Mimo as well. 1-on-1, Elfie quite low. Could come up on top. Just need the right timing. Just read the right util to play it. But Mimo is just quicker on that contact.
Yeah, well worked. CBD, again, they're trying to pivot late round off Kiko's lurks. She's been working her way up, B long. Whatever the active side is with the 3, she's always on the quiet side. This time trying to contact walk into A in the mid to late round and find them a good time. You can see her walking up belt in this replay here. And that does put CBD in a decent enough position to win one of these rounds, but that's where LILAX, you know, from the start of the game, they showed it, and they've continued to kind of win a lot of these duels. Like, they are just playing better individually than CBD in this game for the most part. Elfie's definitely been a standout for CBD, but across the board, like, these players on LILAX are looking sharper here on Icebox. Or Shocky combo. I mean, it's cute, but it hits absolutely nobody. I think it might have hit Bruto for like 50 damage.
And Lilson dared for 2, in fact, not dead yet. Online, Elfie only good for 1. Going more aggressive here as Biguto. Let's shut her down in the end, but the damage has been done. Kiko all alone. She's sharp though. Our Pandy's taken out. She's able to isolate these fights. Could work out in her favor. Clears out the area of rafters with her Nanoswarm. But she's alone. Good read to Mimo. Rushing up forward, the swing to come out. Notes the position already. More of an aggressive push here. Finds Yuki. Needs to challenge and take up space, possibly deny. Perhaps move all the way to the backside. Here's her footsteps noted already. We'll try to break this. And for now, it's Mimo that goes down! The revive comes through. Jillerak. A lot of space to work with. Just when the numbers dwindle down, that revive has been a thorn in their side. Holding a more aggressive stance here, finds one more, and Yuki will end the dreams and potentially the clutch from Kiko. A good round, but LILAX is the one to come up on top.
that was a really good game from them. Like, you did get a little bit of a resurgence from CBD end of the first half after the pistol, but LILAX playing both halves really well. The Icebox pick has worked out really, really well for them, and I think it kind of reminds me of like EMEA a little bit, where like you get some of these teams coming through from contenders or like open quals that play teams that are already a bit more established, and they surprise you sometimes. Like LILAX, they looked, far and away like the better team, not only individually, but they had a really clear game plan that they stuck to, and it was working really well. So, look, we'll see if that's an off map from CBD, and if they are a little bit more comfortable on the map of Lotus, where they have a lot more reps.
Well, we have heard a lot of the information coming in from Pilski, but let's have a look at what our panelists have to say on to you guys.
Thank you guys. An amazing start for LILAX on their map pick, Icebox. Now, it looked like during the second half, especially in the beginning, CBD got them figured out, but LILAX looked really solid on Icebox and they managed to push through.
Yeah, I mean, LILAX at the end of the day, they look like they were more comfortable playing with the composition, and I think a little bit has to be attributed to just CBD's uncomfortability, I like to say, on this map. If you guys recalled, when they played Icebox previously at the start of the playoffs, I think they had that Harbor pick on Elfie, and they were struggling already on that composition, and I think they just tried to, simplify things down with this composition. But again, I think it's just the lack of reps, the lack of comfortability coming in. There were some moments to shine. I mean, in that last round, we saw Kiko almost pulling off an incredible clutch, but I think it was just too little too late. I think the strats were just not in line with each other. Util was a little bit off place. There were small little gaps, and LILAX were more than happy to abuse that. I mean, Senderi going up on top of pipes, she had done that multiple times in a row, but still no one was watching for that kind of a play. So yeah, I think that's kind of how the cookie crumbled. We resulted in this kind of a scoreline. Elfie did an amazing job, but on the other side, LILAX, it was a team effort in this one.
Yeah, it looked like they had a deeper understanding of how they wanted to play this map, and thus the win, and also the firepower from LILAX. They matched up really, really well against Cardboard Dinosaur, which wasn't something that I personally expected as well.
Yeah, no. I think if you look at pure mechanics, I think CBD does edge them out just a little bit. But it really comes down to how comfortable you are playing the map. And interestingly, CBD with 11 first bloods, but they just weren't able to convert those rounds, especially in the tail end. In the later rounds, when the rounds got towards its later part, right, when you need to close out those rounds, I think CBD were just a little bit more uncomfortable, weren't able to connect the shots. Some util was misplaced. A lot of awkward rounds that happened towards the very end of that map as well. And I mean, LILAX will just punish you if you're like looking up in the sky trying to find someone coming in from kitchen. You're not counting where the players are, and you get this kind of a result.
LILAX looking stronger on Icebox. Now, the heat map. How should we look at this, Colden?
Ooh, there's a lot of action towards B, huh? Right? Usually, typical Icebox, we see a lot more action towards the A side of the map because usually it tends to be easier to plant there, right? Because on the B side, in my opinion, one of the least ideal maps or least ideal sites that you want to take as an attacker. But you can see here, I think on that attacking side, they were very comfortable as with that Sage to push into the B side deep. They were able to gain control over that portion of the map, and they were very comfortable playing around that site. So yeah, MVP going to Senderi. I think she put up a decent amount of stats, some really good clutch kills as well, especially towards the tail end right there.
Yeah, she was definitely a huge source of trouble for CBD as well, and they just couldn't really, couldn't really kind of find a right response to what she was going to do. So yeah,
and let's take a look at the highlights, right, of how this all panned out. I think at the start it was like LILAX with that commanding start. They definitely showed that they had comfortability on that map. We saw CBD trying to gain control. You see this wall right here. I think that is a wall that they really didn't have much prepared.
Yeah.
They didn't really expect this. And small little plays like this, Marpandi in the corner, missed timings right here, no assistance from a teammate, Elfie going down. And yeah, it is that small little mistakes that will cost you big rounds. But yeah, a couple of really
details,
cool
right? Yeah.
shots as well. Yeah, it's all the details, right? The devil's in the details.
Honestly, Icebox, really good pick from LILAX, especially after watching how Icebox unfolded. Now the thing is, CBD have their backs against the wall, and they really have to win Lotus if they want to keep themselves in the contention. But the way when Icebox went down, it's not the greatest feeling on earth to head into the next map for CBD.
Yeah, I do think they need to have a little bit of a reset, but I do believe, right? They have that understanding that Icebox isn't one of their core strengths. Lotus definitely might be one of them. It's coming up next. But yeah, I think they understand that they did put up a decent fight up against LILAX. Maybe you can see a little bit of cracks in the armor. I mean, not most, but some of the time when LILAX were doing stuff, there could be small little mistakes here and there. I think CBD will look much more comfortable on Lotus, but that we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, what they need to do, they just go, forget about Icebox, you know, it wasn't our best map anyways, let's head to Lotus, have a banger game there. But we're gonna head over to a short break, but don't go anywhere, because after that break, we have CBD's infamous Lotus coming up. Welcome back to the desk, guys, where me and Colden will be talking about Icebox and mostly about Lotus this time around. Now, Colden, this might be the map that decides whether or not we go to map 3.
Oh yeah,
Obviously.
I mean that tends to be the case. Map number 2 and then map number 3. But
And then, we were talking and we're like, it's likely to go to map 3.
no, you were talking.
But 13-7, not bad for LILAX. But the thing is, Lotus, it's one of CBD's strongest maps.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the most comfortable maps. 9 times played already. And yeah, they've got a pretty decent track record, 78% win rate, only losing, if I'm not mistaken, is to Sisu as well as Invincible GC. So those 2 teams pretty decent in their own right. We'll have to see though, because LILAX did definitely look like the more synergized team on Icebox. If they can bring in that form, right? If they can bring in that confidence that they've got from map number 1, and then in a clean 2-0 fashion, knock out CBD, push themselves to the next stage of the brackets, I think that would just do them wonders in terms of confidence.
But now we do know that CBD feels comfortable on Lotus. But the thing is, what about LILAX? What do we know about their Lotus? Not much, right?
Not too much. They've gotten wins over Iris, Lavana, Estrella, as well as Watermelon. Those teams did make it to the playoffs. Obviously, they were in the open qualifier as well as the group stage. So a decent track record, all things considered, in the most recent matches. But I think they're going up against different beasts. I think if we see Elfie activated again, if we put Envious on a comfortable, like the role that she's most comfortable in, Kiko on the most comfortable role she's in as well, which I believe it's going to be on Lotus, right? They are going to be rocking with that raised composition of theirs. They've got Samfire and Samfire assisting them with the breach. We've seen them do real wonders yesterday. It was yesterday or a couple of days ago. Not yesterday. 2 days ago, I think, versus Invincible GC. And they definitely showed like they were a better team back then compared to Icebox. So yeah.
So if you're LILAX, what do you need to do to kind of make sure that you beat CBD on this map? Is there any gap that they can exploit, or maybe the playstyle that they can take advantage of?
I think they will need to rely a little bit on how Senderi plays, because they are going to rock the Clove yet again. I think Phil C mentioned that Senderi is just picking the Clove in every single map, and they're somehow going to make it work. So again, it's going to be aggressive coming in from the LILAX side. They got to set her up. They've been experimenting with a couple different compositions. They've run with the single Clove, no duelists. They've with triple initiators up against Lavana, Estrella. Up against Watermelon, they brought in the Reyna as well. So I do expect them to probably bring in a double duelist setup, or not double duelist, a single duelist together with Senderi. Yeah, so they can go in together and trade each other out. I think that is the most important thing: getting those trades, getting those opening picks.
The thing is, though, I personally don't know how I feel about Clove on Lotus, because on Icebox we see other teams, even in Pacific, running the Clove. But for Lotus, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Clove smokes are one of the shortest in duration, right? So you don't have that long to smoke off any corridor, to smoke off a doorway, a choke point. So you really need to capitalize on the small window that you have as a Clove. So typically when you see a Clove smoke, it's most often the case that the majority of the players are going to be there, right? The Clove's range isn't big either. It's similar to a Brimstone's, and that is why Brimstones and Cloves aren't typically run as a single controller, because you don't have that global presence like an Omen or a Viper. It's difficult for you to throw fakes and throw different faces on the map. So I think for CBD, if they realize where the commitment's going to be in, where the smokes are going to be at, they can definitely capitalize and expose those short smokes. But yeah, let's jump into the Agent Select screen to see what we're actually going to get here.
But first, we see the beautiful map. Okay.
Of course.
Nothing too left field, just as you predicted. It's going to be important for LILAX on that defense to make sure that they stop CBD. And also when the side switch, as you mentioned, they need to be as accurate as they can be and as explosive as they can be with the small window that they're given.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, Club of Dinosaurs going to agents that they are very comfortable
Yeah.
with. Samphire on the breach, Kiko back on duelist, Envious on the Omen, Elfie on that flex role. And the other side, I think one of the players that we highlighted for LILAX, Yuki, right? A player to watch out for now on that Reyna. Overheal potential together with Senderi, they could steamroll things as well. So very interesting to see how these two teams have different dynamics, but they're going to go up head to head here on Lotus.
Whew. I feel like LILAX is also taking a breather or two, you know, taking a deep breath to make sure they prep themselves against CBD. Okay, so we have our casters ready on standby. I'm gonna throw it off to Tash and Pilsky once again.
Wow, no Pilsky Bunny this time, but you know what else is going to be exciting this map in particular? CBD showing us a lot of a masterclass on what they can do on this map as well, but LILAX showing us a lot of what they can do on their map pick as well. So if they're able to do the same thing, the same sort of teamwork that we've seen, this might potentially go into 2-0, but a lot on the line here. This is an elimination match.
Yeah, I think again we're seeing a bit of a weirder comp out of the LILAX team on Icebox. They were running the single controller Clove that I talked about with the Sage. This time, double initiator is not that uncommon on Lotus, but when you're running Sova Fade, that's a bit of a weird one. I can understand it on a 3-lane map, like especially on attack. You know, you do want to kind of go and retake map control a lot. Usually people rely on the Fade. You can have the Sova as well for that, but no dive as well. You're only playing single duelist Reyna with Clove. It's going to be very hard to get into sites, things like that. They are starting out on defense, and exactly like Coldan said, the first thing that I think of when I see Clove on Lotus is just the lack of global map presence. Like, you have short smokes, you have no global map presence on a 3-lane map. Very hard to run C control unless the Clove is standing at C, or, you know, smoke off A main with the one-way and take rebel control, for example.
That's the value of that Fade. CBD starting off real strong. Yuki chunked down to barely any HP left. Going down to those pain shells. Rough start, but it's a one-on-one trade still. As you can see the quick change in trajectory for the other members of CBD, making a beeline onto A site. Door opened. Smoke's already set down as well as the other members of LILAX have to find their way into the site itself. So turret has been accounted for. The other two going to be holding on to Haven. Choosing to play a little bit more passive here. Playing together has been more of their strong suit. Pushing out onto the top side. Kiko nearly goes down. The answer's back from the Samphire, but she goes answered. Once again for Kiko. Alfiazel is here very much online. Jilorek and Marpandes. Once again, the dynamic duo to just really swing together, leaving Envious to our own devices. Drop. An idea is there. She's low. She spots out her leg here, needs to go for that shot there. She does eat a lot of damage from that shot dive, but Envious finally showing us the infamous aggressive Omen play that we know and love.
Yeah, CBD, very lucky to get away with that one. I think, you know, the round was going decently for them. They found the opening pick over towards C, and similar to what you saw on Icebox, they're actually running a 3-1-1 with the lurk out A that was used as kind of a contingency plan. And that's something that at this point LILAX has to be aware of, has to kind of read into. Weren't able to complete this 2-on-1 clutch though, so that's a pretty massive missed opportunity for LILAX, particularly when you're playing the Clove Reyna. That is a strong comp for winning pistols, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, what a shot.
That was an insane shot.
She is nasty with the Marshall and the Outlaw, honestly.
Yeah, we saw that on Icebox, seeing it again here on Lotus. This map in particular, we had questions about this comp, but it's looking good so far as Elfie forced to move out of the way because of that. Our Pandies, always quick to play close whenever the util hit. Good spray from Pigruto, double swing as well. Good protocols all around from CBD, wanting to make sure they can bring as many guns as they can forward. Might be stopped here. Go around where this force has happened. Sundari doing what she does best, just running it down, playing aggressive, and this is what 21 maps in a row looks like when you play this much Clove. And the beautiful thing about Sundari on this Clove, and as well as the rest of the map of the agent picks for LILAX, is all those comfort picks if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said for that, for sure. It's great when you get these flexible players that can play a bit of everything, but they're usually kind of not the standout fraggers. Usually when you get players that are very comfortable on a certain agent. And I mean, look, winning the duel with the classic, getting the pick-me-up and picking up something like a Spectre is very scary if you're the attacking side team trying to complete an anti-eco. So that's a massive round to win for LILAX, especially after a bit of a deflating loss in the pistol previously, where they lost that 2-on-1. Now they've won that anti-eco. They picked up a lot of guns. And CBD back to the drawing board. Sheriff's out. Just working this map control.
Haunt finds no one. A lot of value can be given from that haunt, but CBD hasn't able to fully capitalize off it quite yet. Senderi cute on that, huge on that wall bang onto Pigruto. Angles all accounted for, making sure they don't get backstabbed. Seen it way too many times on that previous series, but a bit more quiet from CBD this time around. Breaking the alarm bot, sprays out Mimo and Nuki.
Spike down.
Full control. C is their playground here. Haunt. Bit of idea, a bit of info given, but Spike fully in their control. Metal thrown out. MBS playing a more aggressive angle. They were so ready for them. Only good for one here for Elfie. That's 2 rounds taken back by LILAX.
Yeah, I think CBD, this is going to be a lot of pressure now for them. They are the team with more experience, but, you know, getting ecoed in the second round, giving away a lot of guns, gives the other team a very strong economy on defense. And you've got to pick me up for Senderi into the first gun round as well. Like, this is getting a little scary. You've got a couple of Guardians as well. I'm loving the Guardians. When you're playing Sova Rays, the potential to spam through all of the paper-thin walls on the A side of the map with a well-timed scan is very palpable.
Senderi. There's a lot of debate on whether or not Clove is a controller, and no, looks like it's gonna be played duelist style. Tip of the spear here, playing this corner to perfection. Finds Kiko as she just moves straight to that door area. Metal, they're out the area. Hopefully, just really punish. No members of CBD will be doing that quite yet. Feels like for CBD, a lot of their confidence has been whittled down, as you start to see hesitation slowly trickling into their minds. Need to be able to win your duels, win these fights, clears out all these corners, but Nuki faster on that first contact. Senderi as well, a high-low, very well done here. Just completely crush and crunch the members of CBD. Envious all alone onto Mount. Counted for. Can't do more than that. Senderi sharp as heck on that Clove.
Yeah, they need a timeout or something here, CBD. It's looking like the same start as they had on Icebox. Like, they are looking very disjointed. They're very much kind of just taking basic map control on one side and relying on the lurk to kind of pivot back, which, you know, it's not uncommon to play like that. Playing 1-1-3s or even playing 1-4s on, you know, maps that aren't these 3-lane maps is not uncommon, and it's effective for a reason, but the way that they're playing it is not very effective. The lurk is trying to get into C, and then it feels like the spacing is all over the place as they try to rotate to the other side of the map, and that's where LILAX are taking full advantage. They're winning all of these duels on CBD when they're not swinging together.
A lot of pressure onto 8 one more time. This time around, CBD quicker and really not able, really eager to just take away that space onto Rubble, denying it from LILAX. LILAX, they're okay to play a little bit more back. A little less aggressive, understanding that these gun rounds can be one of the most deadliest rounds for players such as Samfire, such as Elfie and Kiko as well. No movement quite yet. Attempts has been made by Jailer at least with the information gained. And now it's back to the cut of noise as you're gonna be a bit of a skirmish over in Waterfall. Finds nothing.
Yeah, again, Pigruto is just trying to lurk onto C-site. LILAX, well aware of that. I'd like to start to see them play more off angles. You're seeing that from Nuki front B right now.
No peeking.
Just play some of these players in off-angle positions and make their lives difficult. Beautiful paranoia, though, from Envious to set up Pigruto to win that duel. Envious making her way back out of the C site. This is drawing a lot of rotations on over, but the real push is over here towards Atash.
Waste on the side, Jalara doing damage!
Spike down A.
Incompatible! Only an outlaw hand! Defended the entire to the side, Envious! Can only get one more before Nuki takes her down! What a round for LILAX! CBD supposedly supposed to be their map, but LILAX showing us what little information they have. They can use it to their advantage.
Trick shot.
It's got to be pretty demoralizing. I mean, you know, they're finding opportunities, but you line up in tree like that against an outlaw and you're just getting collateral with 2 bullets. Like, that is very demoralizing to be in the server. And I keep highlighting it, but, you know, this is lower bracket. Sometimes when the game is going so strongly for one team, it can be hard to be resilient. It can be hard to stay in it. As a team like CBD, you've had the worst possible start to this half, economically speaking. You're playing the game on hard mode against a weird comp.
Bomb buddy out.
Let's see if they can stick in it. 1-1-3 again. Omen and Cypher active lurks, but CBD are going to turn this into a beat split now, Tash.
Oh, Yuki holding a very aggressive angle. Not dead yet. Sandet will be taken down. Nemo with the turret for one more. The sprays to the top side here with that Odin. That is disgusting. Put any weird weapon into LILAX's hands and she makes magic from it. 5-2-1 right now, and CBD left scratching their heads. But they do have 5 ultimates to play with.
And this is exactly what I was talking about. Playing these off angles, front side of B main, like just taking these duels in weird positions. As CBD, you know, you're thinking, we've taken A main control, we're going to break open the Hobbit hole and kick off this B split. We're thinking about players, you know, inside of that A link, Heaven, C link. You're not expecting 2 players front side of B there in main. Really hard contesting you.
That displaces Sinderi. Forced to move back. Pushes up forward. Guns 3! What? Sinderi, what is that? Shut down though by Brigruto, but not before the damage has been done. Aggression all around, and you can tell LILAX feels very confident right now.
Yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing. You know, they're just taking tools. If you're feeling it, you know what? Just swing through your own smoke, take a duel onto C-mount, anti-eco. What's the worst that could happen? Nothing, because everything's going the way of LILAX this game. Like, it just feels like one of those games where they can do no wrong. And I feel like a broken record, but when you're CBD, you've lost the first map in pretty convincing fashion, and this map is going very quickly downhill. Like, it takes some serious mental fortitude and character to be able to grind your way back in a series like this and try to, you know, keep your lower bracket dreams alive.
Look at Jalarak here. Odin's still in hand. She's done a lot of damage with that flash into door, full control tree. CBD, hard to move forward with only sheriffs in hand. They do have a Vandal for Figruto. Need to go for these isolated plays, but 2-man disadvantage is a bit hard for them to deal with. Nuki finds one, gonna just quickly swing in. The Empress doing a lot of work for Nuki. We have 5 rounds to climb back, and the first half is slowly dwindling down. CBD to find an answer and quick.
I think it's got to be a similar answer to Icebox, if I'm honest. Like, they need to stop trying to get so fancy with the rotations and do too much on the map. It's not working for them. They're running into off angles. They're getting caught off guard, especially in a round like this. Let's be real. We've got 5 ults online.
They need to use it.
Ultimates. Just get in the site. Just get into a post plant. Stop trying to run around the map. Stop trying to, you know, rely on active lurks to be able to pivot in the late round. Let's just simplify a round and see if it works out for us, I reckon.
Hunter's Fury already. Tags a little bit, but nothing more than that. Goes straight onto that side. Taking a lot of damage here. Cool. For us to buy a little bit more time here onto Bend. The cage set up as well. Cool. Taking a little bit more space here. Comes Nightfall as well. And from that goes the Prowler. Go rushing up forward, but despite that, Mimo is still the one to make it on top. Elfie forced to give away her position. Yuki counting for one more. Quickly dismisses onto the side as well. Elfie alone finds 1, 2, 3 for Yuki. Looked so good in the beginning, but unfortunately not able to tie it up. CBD can't do anything. That was what, 2 ultimates used?
Yeah, I mean, what you're seeing is just one team being a lot more clean with how they're playing together. Like, they're playing the retake together. Kikoho needs to win that duel on a player that's been Nightfalled and seized, and you're running in as the Raze, like, towards CT. But, like, it's just so disjointed the way they're taking duels. Like, their spacing is all over the place. It feels like they're really trying to force the issue a lot of the time against LILAX, and it's just not working out. Like, look at this. One player C mount, 2 diving CT, and 2 on the side. There's no cohesion here amongst this attacking side. They're trying to do 2 or 3 different things at once, and it's not working for them. Whereas, you know, LILAX, they're committed to the retake, they're committed to the plan that they're going for, and they're swinging in together, and it's working a lot better for them.
Coming into this round, once again, C hit. Bit more passive for Mimo, holding all the way in backside, punishing the onto B side alone. Pigruto. The lurk will not be successful. Here comes the Rolling Thunder at least. Now CBD looking to take a little bit more space than usual, but this double push forward toward Waterfall will punish Iko for daring to play all alone. So Derry and the other members of LILAX are okay to play a little bit more passive, okay to play a little bit more patient. It pays off in dividends for them. One by one they fall. Envious at least gets one to her name. Can do a little bit more than that. Not dead yet, Derry says. They do have the lockdown use as well. Jilirak with the Odin doing a lot of work. Samfire alone. The crossfires and the crunches coming through all around. LILAX, one more to their name, and CBD, unfortunately, still a little bit too overwhelmed.
Yeah, they're not adapting the way they're playing at all. Like, their active lurks are not working for them. Punish front B again. Double swung by a Reyna and a Clove, and then we had a Rolling Thunder into Waterfall that catches nobody, and multiple players that aggress into CT and Waterfall that are punished by LILAX that haven't even rotated into the site yet. Like, CBD, they're getting onto the site for free. They need to just recognize that they can get the most favorable post plant possible and just wait for LILAX to attempt the retake, and then use these big ults, like use the Nightfall or the Rolling Thunder to disrupt the retake or the Showstopper to secure the round. They're really just trying to force things way too much, and it's not working.
A lot of pressure coming through from Jilirak. Has a lot of space onto Rubble. Envious doesn't care. Angle played to perfection. Sindari punished. Might be big. Sindari has been their biggest heavy hitter here. Rushes up forward. Here we go. Online already. Envious. Or Aggressive Omen. The first one we saw back in 2022. Moving back to just really rendezvous with our teammate once again. Mimo. Not spotted out by the Roomba. Could potentially be dangerous or running into this area. Opted to wait for her teammates, and that's the beauty of it. Nope. She goes a little bit more aggressive. Spots one out. Can she go for 2? Prowler is here, but here comes the shooting play! Before finally taken down, Mimo! This is her playground! Damage done already. Kiko left all alone. It's all down to her 2 teammates. A double swing forward. Clean round. Yuki has always been good to just really clean it up.
How is it so hard to kill a Killjoy in spawn, in a corner? You've ripped the rocket as well and really just said to yourself, look, we're on a half buy, but we need a bloody round, Tash, please, for the love of God. Let's just kill this one player in spawn. And Nemo somehow got 3 out of that altercation. When Envious is out A fighting, you know, World War 6 by herself, getting multiple picks, and we just can't convert the round. Like, that's crazy talk. That is crazy. It just really doesn't look like CBD's in this game right now, and I gotta say it, like, we're at 9-1. This tack needed to come way sooner. We needed to see them recognize what wasn't working for them, recognize the way that LILAX has been playing, because they've been playing pretty much the same way this entire half, and start to adapt to that, and they just haven't been able to do so. And now they're in a position that's almost untenable, right? Like, we're already down a map. We're down 1-9. No one's really feeling it outside of Envious. This is a very difficult situation to recover from.
I thought that it would be a mirror of the previous match where it was just a slow start for Cardboard Dinosaur. Taking too long to really figure out the start, but starting to feel like this time around, they're not finding an answer. As you mentioned before, they're all over the map. They want to do too many things at once. You know what? LILAX is playing their own game. Sometimes this overthinking is just leading them to...
Like they've had a clean game plan on both maps that they've just been sticking to, and it's been working. Like, they know what they're doing, and so they're a bit more cohesive in the way that they're approaching it. Their teamwork's a lot better, and the players are confident playing in that system right now. Like, they are thriving. Credit where credit's due. And again, similar to what I was saying, like, for contenders in EMEA, it just feels this LILAX performance, you want to lean on the players that have experience and tenure in the scene, but through these qualifier systems, some of these game changer teams are so cracked, dude.
They are. Nightfall used already, just to really deny that space, and CBD unfortunately forced to move out of the way. gonna be changing the trajectory. Might be a C hit if you think about it, but look at the amount of utility that's been left on that side itself. Mimo has been going above and beyond to make sure to protect the C side with her life there. I'd be able to potentially spot her out. No, can't. Okay, to just wait it out. Breaks the util all around the nanoswarms just by a little bit more time, a little bit of space. You can see the From the Shadows used as well, just to TP all the way into halls. Mimo is here this time. Not caught up quite yet. Look at where LILAX positioned themselves, all the way far back. And this is the moment we mentioned. We do not want to see a situation where an overheat will be happening. And Via setting it out. Lear as well coming through. She doesn't check the corner, but thankfully Elfie does. Finds Yuki. Spots out one going toward waterfall area. Mimo is here though. So they want to do is go for a double swing. They can. Great isolation for Coco. Excuse me. As the metal will give them a little bit more space. And a little bit more backside, so they need to just hold on to as much space as possible. They need to go for this retake here. Bit hard to do that as Kikowo gonna be great with that 3. Finds one more top side. Marpandes finds one, but Carpod Dinosaur finally converting that timeout. Looking good for them.
Last round.
But a 7 round is a hell of a long road to walk to.
Yeah, and the adjustment, look at the minimap where they're playing. The adjustment in this round, it's not a macro adjustment. They don't change their strategy at all. It's all micro. All of them are actually committing to the same plan. We've got 3 players fighting spawn side together, one playing the pivot on waterfall and one on the site. You know, we're not trying to hold everything. We're not trying to push waterfall and CT and hold the flank and put the spike down. We're all playing together and committing to an idea, and that's what worked a lot better for CBD that round.
A little more silence this time. Smoke's already down. How aware LILAX is. A bit more aggression for LILAX on B and C this time. Anywhere CBD quickly peeks, tries to get info, will be punished. Then LILAX is just like, okay, we got our one, move backwards. They've been doing that many times. But A side this time, look at the shift where Mimo has put in her utils as they quickly open up tree, go straight onto the site. All info all accounted for. And Mimo is all about just getting those pickups one by one, putting the swarm grenade just to deny a bit more space. Ooh, pops the head of Elfie. Kikowo going a little bit more aggressive. Mimo with a shorty. Can't find the right angle, but Senderi is here for that crunch. Finds Pigruto in those lurks. Very aware here as Envious quick to react off that broken door. Kikowo moving up forward with her teammates here. Samfire with her, just quickly swing up forward as well. And Marpandes all alone. This might be the start of the momentum shift that we were talking about. CBD needed just that one round to just really keep them online. Smokes all around. Marpandes needs to go for that defuse. Moved out of the way. Look at this util dump. Hard to deal with. Time ticking, not on her side. She needs to do something, anything. But in this situation, maybe go for a pump. Can't do more than that. Kiko finally online. Looking good right now. 9-3 curse has happened before. Can it happen again is the question. So gonna toss it over to our analysts to see what they think about this round.
Thank you guys, and in the second half, CBD definitely need to get themselves back in the game. It's not looking too good for them, even though we can kind of expect the 9-3 curse to kick in. I think it's a huge surprise, not only for CBD, but also for LILAX, that the first half actually looks like this. So, Holden, why is CBD struggling?
I'm a little bit lost for words. It's crazy to me that the single controller Clove with the Reyna is the 9-3 half on defense side Lotus. It just boggles my mind. I think CBD kind of, maybe they're overthinking it. Maybe they're just not on the right page, because the second to last round was what they should have been doing the entire half, right? Which was to force a reaction from the defensive side, force them to use both of their spokes. Senderi was literally running from the C side all the way towards the A side, popped down the smokes, and then they paused, let the round trickle out, waste their util, and then they re-hit towards C. There was no smokes available. The Killjoy util was, there was nobody on the site, and that was what they needed to do, is to play the rotations. That is what their comp is strong at, right? They have the breach, they have the fate, they get info, push away space. But they needed to do that earlier on. I think 9-3 at the half already might be a little too late. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to cope up against that on the defensive side. So if anything, CBD really need to just understand the strengths of their attacking side comp, which is, again, their explosive overheal potential, but they lack that sustainability in the long term with those smokes.
CBD in a dire situation. They will need to get that 13 rounds on their scoreboard if they do want to take it to map 3 and keep themselves alive in the contention. So second half, here we come. Over to you guys, Pill Buddies.
All right. We get our team name back. Thank you for that, Jen. Coming into this half, a lot of stuff to do. As I said before, long road ahead for CBD here coming into the second half. We've seen it happen for Boba earlier. Could potentially happen one more time, but CBD, their mental needs to be in the right place to be able to do so.
For sure.
Find you.
Will be a game of mental, just keeping themselves on the same page. Haunts exchange over on C long. It's a very slow opening round here for LILAX. Taking their time. I mean, one of the strengths of their comp is exactly what you just saw. Haunt and Sova Dart early round can give you a decent amount of info. They've been able to take C mount control pretty easily here. Just grabbing the orb and playing this double initiator style, kind of similar to like that old Sky Sova that you'd see on Bind. They can very proactively kind of clear these lanes and apply pressure with the initiator util like you're seeing.
Not exactly where the util is. Both trips accounted for already. A lot of pressure onto B main. Haunt used once again, cleared off the backside, so that's enough info to give them that there might be someone here. That's a very hard camera 2 break as well, as Samfire just waiting for the right time. If they were to burst into sight, she can buy her time just to really isolate her teammates from that, but Marpandies will be the one just break straight onto the side. Elfie quick for that swing, and so does Pigruto.
Spike down. C.
Good hold for them as the wall back through, answers back all around. Nemo and Marpandies accounted for 1 each. 3-on-3 despite the chaos. They have the Prowler as well to play with at the very end, but once again, her pain shell's doing a lot of work. He called for 2 here.
Okay, done.
In fact, 3. A CBD finally, a pistol in their hands might be the start of something great if they're able to just snowball off this next anti-eco.
Yeah, you see the strength of the Cypher breach in that round. Something that you've seen a lot more. It's kind of, you know, if you're not playing the Viper comp, the double controller, this is one of the most popular comps you can play for a reason. The Cypher camp, so many sneaky little angles you can put that, so many trap plays and that you can run, and that was a perfect example of it. Cam up above C, as soon as the contact C hit comes in, you had the fault line in from B. Thrown by Samfire, shut it all down before it even really got going.
Aggression all around. This time around, they put their pressure onto a Rubble. Denying space is going to be huge for them. But for LILAX, they're okay to play a little bit more back.
Yeah, they can chill because they're playing this double initiator. I mean, this round, you know, the Outlaws making their life difficult. They don't really have much invested in it, but, you know, CBD, they are playing a comp where they can wrestle space away from the attackers. They can hard take A main, you know, and sit on Rubble. They can take C long. They have all these trap plays, but the strength of LILAX is they can play slow like this, and they can use things like the Prowlers, like the, you know, Haunt, Dart, Drone to be able to retake space in the mid round and try to read whatever CBD is doing and adapt on the fly.
So say pivot is always one person holding here. Jalera has the thorn on their side. It might potentially be Elfie this time. Yuki this time a little bit more late on those lurks. Sprays all around. Pigruto takes full advantage of that sound cue. More pressure onto A side. Doors opened. So try to just fake going into B side. Prowlers find no one onto Mound. Yuki all alone here. A trip is there. They do potentially have an idea there is going to be one close. Yep, she notes it. Sunfire still waiting here. Just slowly let her rip off that. Gets tagged and quickly Sunfire reacts. Beautifully done. Time not on LILAX's side. 10 seconds to go. Mimo pops ahead of Pigruto. Straight onto the site. But tries to go for that plant. They do. 3 seconds. 2. And they finally do get it down. Mimo, despite the fact that she only has a sheriff in hand, she's really aggressive. That is confidence. They feel good. Kikoa just moving straight up forward. Puts one out. Jalera all alone here will be tapped in the face. Converts to anti-eco. And if they do convert the next bonus, we might be having a game in our hands, Spilsky.
Yeah, definitely starting to close the gap. It's similar to Icebox, right? Like, they picked up a couple of rounds late in the half. they took a while to adapt, but once they did, you know, you could see they were really starting to understand how to win. And then they win that pistol in the second half, and all of a sudden it could definitely get much closer of a game. So look, let's see if we get that second layer in from LILAX like we had on Icebox. If they are comfortable playing this attacking side of Lotus. Get light armor on a couple of these plays. You see them actively going back down to Bulldogs to get that initiator util, but also they're aware that the Outlaw's in the hands of CBD, so Senderi likes to live life on the edge, that's for sure.
Setups all around util, dump onto A main.
There.
Just to deter and deny a lot of space onto Rubble, but CBD. Samfire still holding down the fort of B site here. Playing very well with that trip. 3-4 members waiting here. A drone just to clear them out, as well as those trips. Rushes out forwards and very quick to just pivot onto that. Finds Envious straight in the face. The Gruto as well accounted for. Plays 2 players already moving around at the same time, but CBD comes up on top here. And unfortunately, Spike pushed all the way backside. Nemo all alone, and Samfire answers. They convert this round. Looking really good, CBD. Slowly making up the points here with only 3 points deficit, despite the large rounds ahead that LILAX had ahead of them.
Yeah, I think you had that main control there for CBD. Like, it gave them such a easy flood over back into that B site. Big flood in through the hopper hole there. They had a couple of players coming in through C-Link as well, and LILAX, they're really trying to force the issue and fight one of those angles, but I think you need to be active towards A-Link if you've lost control of Rubble, if you've lost control of A-Main. When you take B, you have to really make sure that you're not letting them flood out through door. Yuki on the lurk. The Sheriff here. It's got 2 players to contend with, and Envious is going to get a pretty easy, pretty free one.
Go get him.
Ping-ponging off that contact. So the rest of LILAX just walking straight up C mount. Senderi's getting another orb. She is very much investing in this round, and it seems like she is very confident. Like, I've seen some of the previous series from her, and she does seem like one of the standouts on this team for sure. She's had a lot of big series for them.
Senderi trying to disrespect that cage, not able to, moves back. Makes sure to see they're not getting backstabbed here. And CBD, they've been playing a more reactive instead of proactive round, playing very back, except for 2 or 1 players over on one side. Nice high-low setup here from CBD if anyone were to push through. Aldron as well, accounted for already, just to really check out and suss out the area. So these util dumps could potentially buy a lot of time and space, but let's see whether or not Senderi can just quickly just pivot off that
30 seconds
onto B
left.
site. 30 seconds to go, time ticking. Immediately just break the util as well. Quickly just gonna pop the head of Samfire. Can go for 2. Aggressive. Our panties here. Sharp with the Sheriff. Smoked out already. Can't do much. And 3 gun barrels onto you.
left.
With only 10 seconds and the spike nowhere in sight. Just gonna quickly dwindle down the time. Has to go down here. Crossfire. Not able to take one more head off. And CBD runs away with another round.
Yeah, they're making this defensive side look pretty easy. I think LILAX need to start to see some level of adaptation out of them. We've seen most of the time this A main control out of CBD. That is their go-to, kind of playing the breach on the rotation, obviously. The reactive util, very strong from the middle of the map, but it's A main control from CBD, and they put the Cypher on C. Like, LILAX gonna take a tactical timeout now. Have a chat about how to deal with that. They are getting pretty close to a lot of big impact ults coming online. Do have the Clove ult, but also very close to Lockdown, Hunter's Fury, Nightfall. So really could start to help them crack through this dry spell, but it's not just going to be the ults that get them across the line here. Like, they have got to make some pretty big adaptations. They've got to recognize the control that CBD is taking and how they're taking it and how that affects the rotations in the mid round, because that is the most important thing when you're playing this double initiator comp. Like, you need to, when you forfeit that aim and control and you take C, decide, okay, we're committing to C site and we're going to actually execute and we have some kind of set plan, or we need to decide, okay, in the mid round we're going to retake A first and deny info over there because we know that the defense has taken that. So we'll see if we do start to see a bit more of that adaptation, if they can test the initial map control out from CBD. If they go C here, though, you've already got a pretty big C trap, and they've swapped the Cypher over towards A, so a bit of an adaptation for the defense after the tack timeout.
Comes the haunt. Okay, quick to get rid of it. For CBD, look at that, 3 on C already, leaving the B site onto the mercy of a single trap wire. But that's enough, honestly, if you think about it. Have an idea on how to play off this, being able to just react off each other could be huge, and CBD has been doing just that.
Yeah, I mean, the Fade got full info out A. So they recognize this is a different round. And I like that they're going back. Like, they are recognizing this is exactly how you have to play this double initiator comp. Like, they are seeing, okay, they haven't taken Rubble. This is clearly a very different setup. We haven't seen anything at A at all. So this is some kind of retake setup. We can just go hit A. So really, really good reading in the mid round. They should get a free sight hit. And then it'll be down to the post plant.
Broke one there. They also see using that Prowler just to break all those util up forward plant. Finally, CBD get it down, and with 5 players still very much intact here. But the retakes is gonna be another question. Nightfall is here. Pigrocho rushes up forward and finds herself with the util in hand. Yuki and Senderi good for one Empire as well. Go force back. Our Patty is gonna use that seize. Trying to be able to get one, and she waits for the right opportune moment. LILAX is there just to context play. They need to just crossfire back. They can be able to do so. The stun are doing work, and so does Mimo. Sapphire left alone. Pops the head of Senderi. Here comes Fury, but just corrals her straight into Mimo's crosshair. A good run for LILAX. Finally, they get it in the end, and converting that timeout as well.
That was much better, you know, using the... Oh, I dropped my spoon. Sorry, Tash. Using the initiator util to inform their decision making and make the right choices in the mid round. Set them up super well. I love how aggressive they played as well in the post plant. You could see that CBD, you know, they have this really strong comp for coming back in on the retake. They committed the Nightfall. They committed the breach util as well. But when you're playing forward on some of those aggressive off angles that the defense isn't ready for when they're attempting that retake, you can definitely get caught off guard. Again, the one way towards A main, Marpandies is sticking around. She gathered great info on the fade towards A in the previous round. You're even hiding the camera from CBD here. Here's the drone from Jellarak having a little bit of a look at what's going on towards C. They don't see anything. Hopefully that doesn't lure them into a false sense of security, because this is a big trap being prepared by CBD.
Oh, Kiko, very aggressive. Playing with the util as well, pops someone with her pain shells. And she wants more, pushes out forward, very aggressive round. Also flash, a one-way smoke. Big area to climb. And the spike is completely in the mercy of CBD. They use the haunt just to really clear those angles. Smoke drop down as well, Senderi. Clear the angle with that. Senderi eating quite a lot of damage there. Util dumps all around from CBD. Hard way, but it's gonna be Senderi very quick on that headshot. One moment is there. Metal thrown out as well. They know that's one close. Gonna pop the smoke just to really isolate these angles. Finds one more Sapphire close. Not dead yet. Kikoa finds our panties. And now Kikoa for 4, potentially going for the ace. Gonna be denied by Senderi. She has always been sharp. Overhealed, but no, I can't do more than that. Tall order, and CBD finds the right opportunistic play. Just bring them to an 8. What a comeback.
Yeah, they just needed a bit more patience there, LILAX. You know, they see the one way over towards A main and they read that as potentially a Rubble setup, but that's just poor communication on the part of the A default player. Like, you've only seen an open smoke. There was no raised satchel, there was no boom bot, pain shells, no fault line. These are the key pieces of information that you need to be conveying to whoever's doing the calling on your attacking side, because those are the pieces of util that it's going to tell you there's players out A. Exactly like you're seeing here. Shrouded Step, Paranoia, raised util. They know they're active on A.
Are they going to clear out is the question. They got punished so many times in this angle. Kikoa with the Roomba! Straight to Nuki. Envious is still unaccounted for, but doesn't really matter. Pivoting into B site, full control of the area. A Sapphire. Huge tap to the head. Jellarak goes down. One by one, the members of LILAX go down. They have no clue how to deal with this defense. Giving them a taste of their own medicine. Ring around Rosie with the door. Elfie goes down. Elfie for 2. Almost equalizing. A 9. This half looked almost impossible for CBD to come back. But understanding what's at stake here, CBD wants to bring us over to the distance.
looking like a completely different team now. Momentum is firmly with them.
Enemy remaining.
Strong economy to boot, some big impact ults. The individuals are starting to fire up as well from CBD. Kikoa in particular has had a masterclass of a game so far. A lot of big multi-frags on her part, and she's earned herself another showstopper here.
Bring them down.
A main control taken by CBD. Different approach this time. Sorry, A main control taken by LILAX. Different approach from CBD. They clear front B, and the Razor's pushing quite deep there. Envy is playing retake A. And it looks like LILAX are just going to pull the trigger on this A hit. That's unlucky. Losing your omen through the smokes there.
Aggressive pushes all around. Recon finds no one. Sinderi. W King straight onto the site. Once again, CBD taking up a little less space here. Punishing any late lurks. Bimo will be the victim of that. More aggressive from our Pandies. Finds one. FE. Can't do more than that. Samfire. Oh, but she gets 3 in that corner. Taking advantage of that choke, and Jillera all alone. Needs to isolate this fight. Rolling Thunder just to really displace her, and she does. Falls straight to the smoke. Oh, checking the right angle. Kiko, whoa, good read. Straight to the smokes to find her. And LILAX brings it to 11. A good defuse as well. And despite the good start by LILAX, CBD showing us a dominant defensive side.
Yeah, this is what I expected kind of to happen on Icebox, to be honest, heading into that second half. Like, CBD showing us some great resilience. Really changing the momentum of this game after a really slow start. Like, they've been slow starters in both maps, but now that they're rolling, it feels impossible to stop. Massive 3K from Samfire. And that, like, winning that duel on the lurk, very important, but Samfire here holding from spawn on the breach. 3 players swinging her on heaven side. If she doesn't multi-frag there, they lose that round. So LILAX again, back down onto the half by at 10 apiece. See if they can make some magic happen. They've taken that A control once again.
Jump peeks all around. Finds no one, so gonna opt to go a little bit more aggressive here. Changing their mind about that Roomba. Marpandi's doing the same thing again. Dropping that Prowler just to clear out B main. Try and see if they can punish anyone who goes a little bit more aggressive in this early round. Smokes as well. Look at how many bodies are there onto B main. Trips is there, so Samfire has been great to just really buy some time. The trip goes down, smokes her off this time. Due diligence all around, making sure to cut off any angle they can play with. Here comes the concuss just to clear up those angles and corners. A high, low set up there, beautifully done. Yuki taking 2 to her name. Nice Pigruto playing very carefully this angle. Pigruto with a better gun comes up on top. Not before she takes up quite a bit of damage. You see the neural theft used as well here. As Marpandi's play a little bit more aggressive. Sprays all around, knows exactly where she is. Jillera once again tries to make things happen with that Marshall. Can't do more than that. And CBD take the lead finally.
It's been a long road to get there, but momentum is well and truly with them. One off the nightfall now. Winning every single round on this defensive side, except for one. That one got a little spicy. In fact, you know, a couple of these rounds have gotten a little spicy, but they've stayed resilient. They've completed a lot of these retakes very favorably. Heading into the kind of dying moments of this game here, LILAX getting close to a lot of pretty big ults in this round. See if they can use them. A bit more of a direct approach as they make their way out A early on. They're not interested in running around the map and informing the decision making. They just want to commit to this A hit straight away.
Sinderi this time being the tip of the spear, gonna feed herself those alt orbs. Really need to rely on that pressure they get from the not dead yet. Samfire is here. Ready, just really put in that fault line just to clear up the angles. Sinderi W King forward, finds Pigruto, and this answers back, but so does Nuki. They also have the lockdown use as well. Kikuo gonna fall down Nuki here as Mimo. A flash anti, but not quick enough. Samfire a little bit faster on that whole FV as well. One by one, the members of LILAX not able to do anything quite yet. Not dead yet is here, but nowhere for her to run as she immediately gets felled once again.
No more distractions.
Hard round here for LILAX. In fact, hitting match points here for TBD.
Yeah, unfortunate. They just take a little bit too long to get into the site. Like they knew they had a pretty good approach to hit
Match
into A.
point.
But by the time they actually start to get that spike down and the lockdown, you know, ticks about halfway done, there's already 5 players there for CBD. They've already fully rotated into that site. As you see the players in tree here, you can see the rotators in heaven there. The Raze and the Fade are already there before the spike gets established. So you're basically trying to fight your way through a brick wall as LILAX. And unfortunately, they come out the worst of those two. Nightfall and Hunter's Fury up here, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything too promising out of this attacking half. Opts out to Elfie now. A main control taken by CBD.
Look at that. It's been such a big problem for LILAX. They want to take these early fights. They want to fight for control. But CBD has just been denying them that. Opting to go for retakes, opting to go for post-plant situations. From the shadows used as well, just to get some information, finds no one. At the very least, it's just been defaults upon defaults for LILAX. Not finding an answer, not finding a hold. They know where the other members of CBD are. They know how to play this. But the fact of the matter is, they have these protocols for this defense side, and CBD showing us what makes them tick on this map. It's always been this defensive rounds.
Yeah, LILAX have a lot of information. They know exactly what the setup is. Going to start to make their way over towards C here. Elfie and Pegruto ready to defend. Nightfall's there. Reactive util out of the Fade. There's the aggressive Nightfall from the attackers. Trip gets triggered, but it's not punished there, Tash.
It's a lot of damage though. Wall bangs all around.
30
Elfie
seconds left.
low already. Answers back to their own Nightfall. Pegruto playing this corner to perfection. Finds no one though. As the sprays come through, Pegruto and Envious capitalizing on that chaos. And Derry is still holding down the line. So is Mimo. But 2 on 3, 1 man disadvantage. Look at this 3-way high-low. A bit much. The plan does come through. They know what Mimo is. They know they're isolated. Can't do more. All alone here. 100 HP, but the double swing's a bit much. The CBD convincingly show us what a comeback looks like. And we go to map 3.
That's huge. 10 and 1/2, I think, on defense there after going down 9-3. And after a similar kind of story as what we saw on Icebox, they showed a lot more resilience there on Lotus. And I think that's going to give them a lot of momentum heading into the third map. They could definitely make the reverse sweep happen now.
Yeah, reverse sweep could be very impressive. We saw that happening in VST Pacific. Let's see whether or not it'll happen in here. So let's toss it back to our analysts to see what they have to say.
Thank you, casters, and the dinosaurs are back! Definitely a sigh of relief for CBD. Second half looked drastically different from the first one. Now, tell me all about it, Colton.
I mean, they completely look like a different team. It did not look like the CBD we saw in the first half, and how they played in that second half was so beautiful. I mean, every single piece of aggression that they did, it was always with 2 players or more. You could see the amount of utility advantage that they had where you compare utility to clear out certain parts of the map, and I loved what they had in store for us. And a little bit of a jinx, I might admit. I said there's no way that they could come back from it. They left themselves 2 little rounds to work with, but LILAX only had 1 round in the second half. It was a 9-3, right? It only managed to pull 1 round away. What an impressive run from CBD, and credit to Kikowo. I think you compare her performance to Icebox, where she was on the Killjoy. She didn't really have that that freedom to, you know, go entry into sites to take on those duels. Now she's top of the scoreboard, 25 and 17, 299 ACS. Incredible work coming in from CBD.
I mean, I guess comfortability kind of comes into play as well. Meanwhile, Sinderi, speaking of being comfortable, doing everything she can on that Clove. You know, looking at the first kills, it was neck and neck.
Yeah.
I have to say.
I mean, despite it being so close, just the fact that they were able to come back from such a deficit and really look like a completely different team. Like on the first half, they really had no idea what they were doing.
Right.
LILAX were just completely just tossing them around the map, just doing whatever they wanted. But when we swap sides, you can see, you know, the comp diff, I would say. Like LILAX, yeah, they have that team play coming in within them, but when CBD have the chance to exert their dominance on the server, when they have the opportunity to do what they want to do, set up for those trap plays, set up for those retakes, the barrage of utility is so oppressive. The players of LILAX just had no idea where to look. 5 different angles coming in. Yeah, the C's flying in your face. There's a nade coming in as well, a stun and a flash, all over the place. Some of these scenarios were just really chaotic, but still very controlled coming in from CBD. And I think you can look at the heat map right here. A lot of fights on all 3 points of the map. It was very dynamic coming in from them. Very willing to go for retakes as well, and it was executed to perfection.
Good news for CBD. Oof, I thought we might be losing a dinosaur in the contention, but they keep themselves alive for now. We have another map coming up, but before that, Kikowo, honestly, if it wasn't for her, there were a lot of rounds where the CBD might have lost their momentum.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kikowo coming in as the duelist player on this squad as well, putting up this kind of a performance on that entry duelist as well. It's not an easy task, especially on the defensive side, right? You don't have that much liberties. You have to really work with your teammates, call for flashes, call for the Fate Seizes to team up. Right there, literally the first kill was that paint shell kill. It is these pieces of information that gets passed over to her to allow her to set up for those kills. But of course, right, on the other side of things, Senderi also had an incredible performance. I mean, part of me doesn't even know how she's able to pull away with some of these kills. It just looks crazy from her.
That Odin. I like that new skin.
This one
But
as well.
I digress, yeah.
The awareness to just go for that peak by herself. I don't know if that's just confidence or if it's just like a sixth sense, just knowing that you have that little bit of a timing. And
I
these
love
rounds are
this.
so close.
Killjoy with the shorty.
Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
I mean, just looking at how the map panned out, a lot of great shots coming in from Kikowo.
Spike down.
Showstopper actually getting quite a bit of value as well. The last kill right there, Elfie with the shorty. She's been a fantastic player as well. I mean, I remember one of the rounds where Senderi was kind of flanking Elfie. She turned around 180, just completely destroyed her at the C-mount position. So everyone on CBD really turning up and looking like the team that we all know them to be.
And they should turn up. I mean, it's an elimination match, right?
Oh, yeah.
I saw a lot of heroic plays from Kikowo and every single one of CBD players when it was needed the most and when it mattered the most. So scoreline is 1-1, and we have a Sunset coming up as the decider. How excited are you for that one?
Jen, would you like to take a wild guess what agent Senderi plays on Sunset?
I don't know.
There's so many agents she could be playing. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Clove. It would
Yeah,
be a
you are
shock
correct.
not to see Clove.
it will be. I do expect things to be exactly the same going onto the map. It is a map that both of these teams actually don't have too many reps on. Two play for each respectively. So might be a pretty interesting one. As a decider, both of these teams not that familiar on this map. It really comes down to who can adapt on the fly and who really turns up, when the pressure is on them.
All right, Sunset. It's all on Sunset to decide who gets to stay and who gets to leave. Now, production, should we throw off to a break? Yes?
Silence means consent, surely.
No?
Maybe you can
Or
just.
should we talk more?
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more.
Okay, yes, break. Yes, break.
Okay.
Okay, take a break and come back for Sunset. welcome back, guys, and hello again, Colden. It looks like we're going the distance for the second match of the day today as well, with Lotus going the way of CBD. I think both teams are really fired up and they have that last motivation to really try their best on Sunset.
Yeah, Sunset, the final decider. You can see the scores of the first two. I mean, they each pick up their own map picks, but incredible comeback coming in from CBD on Lotus. But yeah, this is going to be Sunset, the final decider. One of these teams is going to get knocked out, Jen, and it's going to come down to literally the final map of this series. Winner of, obviously, continues on in the brackets and has a chance to be that third team to make it all the way to Bangkok. But yeah, today one of these teams will have to go home.
That being said, you have to choose Cat or Dinosaur.
Oof, I will say Dinosaur has a...
one.
Yeah, Dinosaur can fly, this one specifically. So I have a Dinosaur here as well, so...
Oh yeah.
Counts.
Please show us.
Yes, he's the milk dinosaur. I think some people might be
Mosh over
familiar.
here.
Yes. This one's not exactly in Valorant, maybe not yet. Maybe
yeah.
soon. New agent.
Yeah, maybe the new agent about to be released during champs or something. But with Sunset on the horizon for us, I feel like CBD kind of has the edge over here.
Yeah. CBD, I think, have a better synergy when it comes down to things. I really like how they played Lotus in the second half. But going over to Sunset is a little bit of a different, or a rather similar situation, because we're going to have double Clove if CBD runs with the exact same comp that they have been running. They both run that Clove. LILAX on the other hand have that Phoenix and a Sage. So a very interesting composition from the LILAX side. And I think it comes down to whether CBD can adapt to this different approach, right? You got the Phoenix, you don't really have that entry potential from the Raze. You don't really have many abilities like the paint shells to break the trip darts. You have the Sage Wall that can cut off lines that we've seen Paper X do. But again, it comes down to the execution as always.
So when you say similar situation, do you see like a 9-3 curse coming in and then a crazy comeback, a long map?
No, I was just kind of alluding to the double Clove, so it's like similar on both sides. So yeah, but if it's that kind of a situation yet again, I don't know how I feel. If we have like that sort of a comeback, both times that these teams played, it was it's been back and forth. I mean, there's not much consistent results that I can go off of. It really comes down to who shows up here today and who can maintain that momentum that they've got in their own map wins.
Well, when was the last time that these two teams played Sunset? Do you know?
Yeah, so LILAX has played it the last time, start of this month, so the 4th of July. Copper Dinosaur, 22nd of July, so that was just recently up against Invincible GC. So yeah, a little bit more reps on that map, but yeah, they could change the comp, I think, but I think they're just gonna. I think LILAX is just gonna stick with that Clove, stick with the tried and true composition with that Phoenix, which is pretty interesting because we don't see a lot of Phoenix in the current meta.
Yeah, true. We just don't see a lot of Phoenix anywhere on the map. Right?
Yeah. Nuki plays the Phoenix, and Nuki has been performing pretty solidly in this series so far. But yeah, I'm curious to see if Sundari can actually keep up the performance, because she's been like that star player for the team on both of the maps already. So if she can keep up the kind of form, then maybe I think that they have a very strong chance, because obviously if your smokes can stay alive for longer, you have the ability to move to different parts of the map, etc. So yeah.
I just want to see how these two teams would take the mid control, because I feel like that could be one of the winning conditions too.
Yeah, mid is a portion of the map that a lot of teams like to really take control over, and you have the opportunity to split towards market. But with their Phoenix, I think they might be prioritizing the mains more, right? A main, B main, get those orbs in the hands of Yuki, use that, run it back, abuse the fact that it's such low orb count, and then just cycle that all in. And if CBD aren't able to get wind of that strategy, then they might be in. Okay, never mind, forget everything I've said right out the window. No Sage as well. They're changing the setup. Yuki
Yeah.
going for the Raze instead. And Jelrak on the Breach. Interesting. Jelrak has... Yeah, Jelrak was on the Sage previously. So now they're opting for a bit more meta of a comp. And that's the other thing. Couple of Dinosaurs moving away from the Clove. So again, throughout everything I said about the Clove hit-to-hit, and if you're just going to be opting for the Omen instead, LP on that flex role as Gecko, Samfire, Classic. We know her as that Breach. And of course, Kikowo on that MVP performance race that we saw on Lotus.
It's gonna be head-to-head battle between Yuki and Kikowo. Not too left field for both teams, I guess, comp-wise as well. So I guess it's time to hear from the casters what they think about this comp changes. So over to you guys.
Thank you very much. A very, very exciting thing looking at this one. Now, coming into this one in particular, I just want to really point out both teams suffered losses the last time they played on this map. But again, Cardboard Dinosaur looked a little bit stronger, coming toe-to-toe with none other than Invincible GC, the team that nearly took a map away from Zipto. So that is something to put into consideration here.
100%. So I'm keen to see how this map goes. I mean, this will be a decider where both of these teams have pretty limited reps on this third map. So especially with a couple of last minute kind of agent comp changes coming into the equation, we'll see. Less so last minute for LILAX, just in terms of officials. Yes, they have shopped around a couple of agents, but as Golden mentioned, a couple of weeks since they last played this map. So maybe they've had some time to implement those changes. Over on the side of LILAX, they also did kind of change up their comp a little bit before Icebox, and that went quite well for them. So we'll see if we get the same story again. CBD starting out on attack, working their way through B main, working their way through tiles as they smoke off top middle. And it seems like they're already kind of moving their way towards what I would assume to be a B split, but more so kind of just a slower default, feeling out the map, having a little bit of a look around as Kikobo cops a dink.
Last time CBD showed a lot of potential coming into on this map. Yes, it was a loss, but CBD looked a lot stronger coming back onto the attacking side. So this could potentially work out in their favor if they're able to just really go onto the site itself. Look at how far back LILAX has placed themselves, especially Pigruto, just really wanting and opting to play off the util instead of playing up forward and just dying very, very early.
Contact, straight up elbow here. Raze left on the lurk in towards middle, so no usefulness of the boombot and the paint shells really. If she cops a single shot, she'll go down for free. It really comes down to just the retake and this single kill trip across spawn side here. It's a full retake setup for Mimo. Cam gets popped early. I really would have liked to see them hold on to that for the late round, but Kikobo finds some impact on the lurk here before she's taken out.
Very chaotic trades all around. 1-for-1 at the very least. Tiles will be where LILAX wants to come out for him, but there is a trip noted there. They're gonna try and crunch in from CT side as well as main. Breaks that trip, rushes up forward. Sindari taking a more aggressive move area forward. As usual, wins it. Takes out a lot of that util to her face. Samfire also for one more. And regardless of this, one by one, the members of LILAX fall down. It's gonna be Nuki dwindling down the numbers, but despite that, time not on her side. A flash to come through as well, and Samfire easily cleans it out. Pistol into CBD. Good start for them. Good round.
Yeah, for sure. I think especially given the fact that they've been slow starters so far, it would be really good to see them get off to a good start on this attacking side of Sunset. Raze very, very low, left behind on the lurk in middle. Found some good value, so although they lost a bit of that entry power with the boombot and the paint shells getting through onto the site, as she was low HP, she did find a way to be useful in the round after all. So just a save here for LILAX. They have managed to win one of these, save rounds with a combo of like sheriffs and marshals, a bucky or two mixed in there. They've got 2 buckies. So we'll see if those find any usefulness.
Go rushing up forward. Just the Roomba to clear out one area of the site, and for now, a little bit more proactive coming up onto B. Kiko already on the site. Notes one out that Bucky paying dividends. But Alpha and Sapphire, they answer back. Finding two to their name. Retrieving that wingman once again. Envious and her teammate playing a more closer angle on the site itself. With crossfires all around. A swing forward will give Gruto an upper hand in that area. Recon found out our Pandies playing very aggressively, just disrespecting that cage. Gives Gruto all the information in the world to play off with Envious. They still retain 4 of their guns. It's looking really good for them.
Yeah, one off of the Thrash as well, heading into their bonus. Could be a really, really big ult to give them an in into this next gun round. Keep an eye on where Senderi's playing on the Clove, because it's going to very much limit where she can smoke. You know, you don't have that global presence, as we've mentioned, on the Omen, and she's just going to play in the middle of the map to make sure that she can lend smokes to either side where needed. Cypher and the Sober playing the B side together, as you often do see. This bonus not looking too fearsome, but we'll keep an eye on Elfie in particular. Like I said, one off the Thrash, so any kill, orb, or plant could give them access to a really nice tool to try and win this bonus.
Bit more aggression, more pressure onto mid area. Senderi managing to really dwindle down Kiko's HP and just pushes straight into Marpandi's crosshairs. Envious trades back. Nemo here crosses. Unfortunately has to switch her weapons around, but still comes up on top! How on earth did that happen? Envious so low right now. Senderi cleans up the backside. Nuki here with the Roomba. Retake looks good for LILAX in this corner. Checking out every single nook and cranny, and Yuki just walks up there. One to the left, one to the right, and they get this round.
Nicely done from LILAX. Again, showing us that their retakes are really clean. Like when they're able to react to whatever the pressure is, to a bit more of a straight up approach from any attacking side, like they do a really good job of scaling in together. It's been their ultimate asset in this series on defense so far. You've seen it do them a lot of favors on both maps. Lotus in particular, the way that they were attempting a lot of these retakes was very, very clean. Thrash is online now for CBD, one off the showstopper, so keep an eye on Nuki. She has another pop-off game like she did on the Rainer, I think it was, on Icebox. Here on the Rays, that could be something to keep an eye on. Again, same approach time and time again for CBD. Oh, look at this aggression from the Clove though. Senderi getting very, very cheeky inside of B main.
How is she
Thrash
still
gets
alive?
invested, but she's getting away with so much here, Tash. This is ridiculous.
It really is, and she goes for one more aggression all around. Oh, ends it at the very least.
Spike.
There's the spike. Pushing straight onto the site. The damage has been done. She's alone. Only 87 HP to her name, but she finds another one. Wants to go for one more. Flashes, not able to capitalize. Done a good job. Just using her utility to buy time and space.
Planted.
Smokes as well. Just disallowed them to play together. Showstopper is now online. Pops it. Jalera comes up on top. But she still gets 4. Envious low. Nuki is here. And LILAX, they managing to chain 2 rounds in a row, getting that defuse. So it's looking very competitive for these two teams over in the first half.
Yeah, that's taken a big chunk out of their economy though. Only one player surviving for LILAX. CPD got that spike plant down as well, so they're going to have something to play with in this round. Probably just a half bite. This was ridiculous from Senderi though. She throws the default B main smoke and then plays inside of the corner of it and gets 3 when you could see exactly what CBD wanted to go for. They were going for a market split, wanted to throw that Thrash out of B main, and getting contested with that Clove early on really threw a spanner in the works. Their plan started to kind of crumble apart a bit more. Once again, Outlaw comes out here for Marpandies. This time a lot of half-armored players to the half-bar here for CBD. Need a clear round here for LILAX. Their money is not good after only having one player surviving in the previous.
Yeah, Marpandies. Let's go find some players here onto mid-side, only noting Kiko moves out of the way. Quick reaction with that. Marpandies been very deadly with the Outlaw. Both her and Jelarat has been good for that. As CBD opting to play a little bit more silent here on the mid-side area. See alert coming in from Pigruto over on A side. LILAX playing very, very passive, not wanting to take these fights, very aggressive onto mid-area despite the chaos. Only Marpandies is going down in the end. Flashes all around. I'm going to note that trip going to be broken. Walks all around, flashes up forward as his face comes through. Elfie, quick to trade back. Gonna get a little bit of an upgrade as well. A little bit of close roll near the area as the showstopper finds no one. Unfortunately for Nuki, can't deny that plant coming forward. A little bit too much firepower to deal with. Double swings all around. The 2-on-2 still here. We still have the not dead yet as well to work with. Mimo gonna find the angle. Crossfire set up here. One side of the area isolated, and it's just about that swing together as LILAX. I take another one on the board.
Too fast. Can't even keep up with the tracking. Just keep swinging.
Some swing.
Just like Dory told me. 3
Dory.
up for Lilacs. Beautiful stuff. That's what she said, right? Just keep swinging.
Swimming or swinging? Which one is it?
Swinging.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, you got to take that advice. Look at that. That's as wide as it gets. And trust me, I've been pretty overweight in the past, but that's another story. CBD. We'll see what they're able to do here. 3 in a row, like you said, for Lilacs. They're on a bit of a run. They did, again, take a bit more of a expensive route. They lost a lot of guns. Not dead yet, still up there. They've got a couple of big impact holds coming online here. CBD, once again, B main control being taken by them early on. The all being farmed. That's Elfie getting one off another Thrash in as many rounds. Envious has taken a fair bit of space over towards elbow here, but you can see Nuki posted up on the line. That's going to be a duel won by the defense early on, and no smokes for CBD.
Very aggressive for both these teams. Feel the weight on their shoulders, the pressure. Understanding that losing this map means the end of their run here on Split 2. Both these teams really want to make it to the top. Potentially a chance to go up against Boba. And as well as for that third slot, against Sisu for that third slot onto Pacific. Regardless, still far ahead of that. They need to come through this win first. All eyes onto the A site. Pivoting forward. Look at this off-angle plate by Nuki. She capitalizes. Could be deadly. So much utility dumped already. Yeah.
I think there's another orb here. Elfie's got her Thrash.
I think so.
left.
There we go. The Thrash coming out here.
Straight up short. Nuki can't get a pick as they come into the site, but they've still got a player advantage here. Oh, the aftershock is beautiful from Jelarak. Dear Lord. Nuki's going to follow up as well. The boom bombs kiss inside of the site, and Kikoa's got another one. This one's getting spicy. But doesn't matter. Lilacs is going to come away with it there. And they continue their streak on the defense right now. 4 in a row. And for all I was saying about, CBD, they want a pistol. They haven't started slow this time. I think I've cursed it a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
It feels like Lilacs is dominating early.
Yeah, coming on to this one, I'm surprised that, we saw the neural theft was there. And I think for Lilacs, it's all about playing very, very slow, very, very methodical. Waiting to just react off of that. CBD, they hit B, find nothing, go toward A. And then I think for LILAX, it's all about just being able to just react of everything. No need to kind of force the issue. It's all about that punish.
Taken pretty early on here by CBD.
Okay.
Gonna get Kikoa throwing down that boom ball. They're gonna force the issue into spawn here, Tash.
Mark Bambi's here playing very aggressive, and despite that aftershock, she still takes up that space. Samfire to punish his, so does Elfie. But the same thing could be said by the members of LILAX. Sanderi, 2 already picked up, leaving Elfie all on her lonesome. Gotta go for that retake. Changes a bite of play with the friend. Wants 2 hands in the court, dwindling down the numbers. Still, I think this fight could be huge. But Sanderi doing Sanderi things. Our one tricker showing us why she is so adept on that agent.
It's beautiful stuff. Just another successful retake out from Lilacs. It's been what they've done best this entire time.
Sit down.
We're now here. You can see that Elfie, she played that to perfection. The angles already. Unfortunately, a little bit too greedy. It should have been okay to just allow some space, just mentally reset, but it's all right for them. Knowing that LILAX is able to take 5 in a row, and this, personally for me, this timeout, a bit late.
She's always got another Thrash. This will be her third Thrash in like 8 rounds. insane. But then they're really having a tough time converting rounds off the back of those big ults. Like it seems like CBD, they're getting into sites, they're getting into post plants, but the retakes are just way too strong for LILAX. Got the Rolling Thunder and the Hunter's Fury up now for Marpandes and LILAX, so those are going to be difficult to deal with. Sapphire, Rolling Thunder of your own. I think CBD, you know, you've seen them run a pretty similar default, pretty similar map control time and time again. It hasn't really been working well for them. It's been a big focus towards B main and market with active lurk towards A.
I think
Maybe we need to work the map back to front instead. Let's go take some elbow control, something like that, and change up the way we're approaching things. In this case, though, that wouldn't work particularly well for LILAX. They feel like after the attack timeout, CBD is going to go and do something over towards A, and they're well and truly ready for it.
Yeah. Rolling Thunder is there for Jelera as well, so doesn't really matter though. All eyes are on B site.
There's a Thrash.
Yeah, Thrash as well can be used. Can be used to break that trip. Playing a little bit more passive, I think. CBD changing their mind, opting to take
Right there.
full pressure of mid area.
Yep, smoke to top mid. Cypher Cam's getting info over towards A. You got to be careful as Pigruto, though. It's a two-player setup. There was a potential to swing off the contact. Finally, it comes in a little late, but still good enough. And here comes this mid to B with the Thrash.
There's the entirety of backside as well. Good to be picked up once again. Gonna use that wingman to go for that plant. A crossfire just to deny any more space taking. Nemo for one, and here comes the Hunter's Fury alongside that Rolling Thunder. Kiko gonna be found by Marpandes or two as well, playing off all that info, all that util dump. A good start by CBD, but it looks worse and worse as more time went by. Idea was there, but LILAX very passive instead of reactive, and they go for that punish. A flawless round to their name.
It's just so easy for LILAX. It's the same thing as on Lotus, right? Like we're getting these big shoves into CT, into spawn rather. We're getting aggression as the spike goes down very early on in the post plant that's getting punished every single time. Like you need a different approach here as CBD. We got to mix in like a lurk that isn't in the early round. Like their lurk timing has usually been off. It's usually been punished. LILAX puts a lot of effort and emphasis in actively going and clearing out the lurk a lot of the time. If you go for a lurk, you know, late into that post play, I think you're going to be a lot more successful finding a timing.
Timing is key.
Control taken this time.
That's right, moving in with that util. This time around, it's gonna be orb into their head. They line up for Alfie. They have neural step to use as well. Notes all the positioning for the members of LILAX this time around. Looks looking good for CBD. And Vias gonna catch Marpandes over on the mid side. Elfie waiting for the right time to straight go into the side itself. Mimo getting traded off here. Jelera as well. A flash just really swing onto the area. Notes one, notes two. Can she go for one more is the question. Numbers dwindle down and no better time for that. Just to really play off the information as well as those util. Samfire might get a bit antsy, but she goes a bit more safe. Moves out of the way, stabs and strafes away, but Samfire comes up on top. Unfortunately, that whiff, a little bit much. The pressure too much for Jelera to deal with. And CBD, they finally find another round to their name.
It's always the last one that's the hardest. I don't know why, but that was so clean from Jelera. Like really nice retake attempt there. The flashpoint catches all three and she's tapping heads for days. But as we saw in the one-on-one, couldn't hold her nerve, unfortunately, despite dodging the fault line really nicely there. So MT's in the chat. But that'll be finally a third round for CBD, and Elfie's almost up to her fourth Thrash here. Showstopper's up for CBD. That round, I mean, coming back and retaking A in the mid round after applying a lot of pressure on the mid to B and trying to draw a big reaction in terms of the rotations from LILAX worked very, very well. A little bit fortunate to catch that lineup there for Elfie, has to be said. Very passive default to start things off here for CBD.
Scanning ahead.
Scan. Finding no one here as CBD once again. Playing mid area has given them so much control, whether it to be to A, to B as well. And it really just puts LILAX on their toes. No clue where to look at, but Sundari this time. Bigger aggressive style play, shorty in hand. Able to do it before, wants to do it again. Marpandes moves out of the way despite all that util. Kikowo rushes up forward with that showstopper. By some time, It's gonna clear out the back of sight with that. Nuki gonna find at least Pigruto at the end. But they do have their own showstopper to play with. Tagging, ping-ponging, whatever you want to call it. They find one each here. Elfie forced to move back here. The Marshals to clear out that angle, deny some space. Kiko will be found in the end of the day, but the members of CBD will be walking into every single one of LILAX's crosshairs.
Even had a completely different approach this time from CBD. Like they turned the mid control into a mid to A. I like the call. You know, going up mid to short with the showstopper. It just doesn't find the right target. And again, like LILAX, every time they know exactly what's clean and dirty, and they always have a good approach in the mid round on these defense, you know, scenarios. They recognize exactly what CBD is going for, even when it's not a strat that they've seen before, and they're playing to their win conditions. Like they're all turtling side, running away from the showstopper, and then go back in with their own showstopper and a flashpoint really cleanly to be able to break apart that push on short. And in the meanwhile, you're getting multiple players rotating in through top mid and crunching the push together. Like it looks just so clean the way that they're playing these mid rounds on defense.
LILAX, players from Thailand, some of them seasoned, especially Nuki. But most of the players in this team, very new players. Some of them never even made it this far before, showing us and putting a fight against very seasoned players. I'm talking about Envious, I'm talking about Samfire. And for them, being able to make it to Pacific could be a big thing in Thailand, where they live in front of their own crowd. Could be one of the greatest stories of a rookie team in history if they're able to make it come true. But for now, after this, sorry about that, Pilski. Go ahead.
No, so far, like I feel like they've been the better team today. No, like outside of the Lotus defense, their Lotus attack, which was really not great. Most of the halves have favored LILAX, and this one's favoring them a lot as well. Really nice push timing down A main. No trip there. There has been no trip there a couple of times.
Rushing in straight into the side itself. Ko W keying forward. A lot of pressure coming through. Sanderi only good for one. Liz Bimo is here to equalize. Neural Theft comes out, and Envious takes full advantage of that. Gets a bit of an upgrade into her hands as well. Elfie with only 5 HP left. Shadow Step gives her a little bit more space and control of Boba as well. And Yuki with the lurk. Great to find Samfire. Roomba just to clear out. Our Panties quick to equalize. Ignoring Lil Bro and being able to spray out, and LILAX takes this round. After the timeout, looks just so good for them. Taking it back. What a great teammates coming out. 1 kill to their name each.
Last round before the switch.
Last round of the half here to see if they can scrape together 4. You know, I'm saying it's their 4th, I think, 4th or 5th thrash this half, but they haven't really been able to convert many rounds off the back of it. Would love to see them, you know, they've used the thrash to take the site really cleanly, and LILAX, you know, as I've mentioned a bunch of times, has been very comfortable playing retake. As CBD, I just love for them to use the thrash to take space, pick it back up again, and then use it to contest the retake. Don't force the issue too much. Op comes out for 2 players on Sunset. You are never ready for 2 ops on this map, and oh, they almost lose their smokes off the bat. Nuki was checking the texts. She's texting, you know, some of her mates. And what's up? I'm probably going to go play a LAN in Bangkok soon. Anyone want to hang out? Oh, someone's peeked me. Oops.
That was the biggest nope I've ever seen in my life. Coming into this round here. Still, LILAX forcing CBD to play in their tempo, in their rhythm. Thresh up on line already, gonna find 1. Elfie unfortunately will be taken down. No, CBD will not be able to follow up with that. Kokoa will be the one to find Jillarak. Trades
down A.
Counted for by Barpandies here. To quickly push, taking a little bit more of an aggressive approach onto Ali's side. 55 HP to her name. She needs to pop some hits. Can't do so as Kikoa gonna potentially go for 2 with Samfire. Great teamwork, gate play as Yuki just rushes straight into the side. Pikuta is there to just really deny that space and area. But Yuki, how on earth is he winning all these duels? They have this crossfire set up just for her. But Samfire is there to stop the bleeding, but you gotta give it to Yuki. The amount of damage she's put into that team. And now we gotta ask our panelists, what they thought of that particular round. Excuse me. Jen and Colton, desk is yours.
Desk is ours.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, similar story to Lotus 8-4, LILAX in the lead. I mean, I was watching Yuki, I was like, what the heck is going on? But yeah, LILAX looking great in the first half. CBD, they have the potential and the strength to eventually bring it back, but what did you think of the first half?
I think I agree with what Pilsky said, right? They do look like the better team here yet again. Just coming down to those executes. Yeah, sometimes when CBD find themselves in the sides, they get the spike down, but it's the post plans, right, that seem a little bit disjointed. It doesn't seem like they're on the right page right there, just as the round just ended, how that post plan happened. Again, it was down to such a scrappy 1v1. I'm not sure if they have the protocols in place. Maybe the change of composition might not have given them enough time to decide what they want to do. But whatever that LILAX have been doing, have been very consistent. They've been taking those fights together. Yuki, one of the players that we mentioned early on when the series began, right? One of the players to watch out for. She is again putting up those numbers. So yeah, if LILAX continue with this kind of performance when they swap sides, I think it should be a pretty convincing win for them. And CBD, their turn to step up to the plate yet again, similar to Lotus.
Here's the thing. What are the chances that we're going to OT?
I don't know. Odds aren't 0, but I don't give it a very high odds, I will say.
Yeah. Well, second half is coming up right now. We get to find out who gets to stay and who has to go home. So over to you, Tash and Pilsky.
Pilsky.
OT.
Would be a good
Want
one.
some OT?
Yeah, why not? Elimination match, baby. Why not go all the way? Regardless, coming into this one, it's been a very, very long day. Our match starting our game starting only 6 hours ago from our first series.
This one really, for me, comes down to does LILAX have a good plan on attack? Because
do they?
Icebox, they did. They did, right?
Yeah.
But Lotus, they did not. They had a very not good plan on attack. They've had a great defense.
Wait, no way.
That's cheeky.
No way Kiko gets away with this. They're not gonna go there anyway, so regardless. Give me a number on that door, huh, Pilsky?
Yeah. That thing's been hitting the gym. Washboard, abs, like, I don't even know how many panels is on that door. Like
built like a door,
8 pack,
man.
dude.
That's crazy.
Built like a door, bro's built like a fridge. And that's what LILAX need to be built like, hitting this B site. Rotations come in though. Alfie's already along towards spawn side. So it's a double setup on market with a cheeky little trip on the site here, Tash.
Yuki is gonna just completely disrespect the area, walk straight to the trip, stuck in the corner, can't go anywhere, but still, they make it work. But Alfie, with 2 to her name, puts a lot of damage onto the team. Over on mid-side here, there's a skirmish of their own. Mimo gonna go down to Kikoho. Sundari in a 1v2. Kikoho quite low. Can take full advantage, but Sundari has other things on her mind. Going all the way to backside here. Perhaps being able to find the right timing could be great here. Spots 1 out. Ooh, unfortunately whiffs. Drop down to 28 HP and makes a beeline straight to A site. Tries to be a little bit more smart. That was outplays on outplays, man. I can't deal with this.
I got you.
Alfie can though. Alfie
Truly.
is reliable. We'll see if she can top her Thrash collection record.
How many was it just now?
I think it was 4 in the first half.
4!
Remaining.
It's insane.
A little bit easier when you're planting every time though.
Oh yeah, that's true. Makes it very, very easy coming into this one. We've seen anti-ecos already. I mean, we've seen eco round wins as well, so let's see whether or not LILAX can do that. Dizzy, thrown upwards. Finds no one. That's enough info for them.
I mean, CBD, they've won both pistols, so you can't, like, there's no excuses there.
Trill.
Get this one done, then that's going to be rough.
Oh, and he is good for 2. That's good for the reload. Pops out to the classic quick reaction time. But Mimo still has juice in her. to go a little bit more aggressive. We've seen some insane pistol rounds before. Classics is our free gun that's one of the best. But the triple swing might be a bit much to deal with. But Mimo putting quite a number there onto two of the players of CBD. But with 3 guns,
There's nothing but digs.
quite healthy. Quite healthy.
You cursed it. You set it up so well. Like this free gun is OP, and then it's just nothing but headshots.
Pilsky, come on, stop playing on that, please, I'm begging you.
Spike down.
What did I? No, I didn't say anything, dude. Who do you think is gonna win, by the way?
Yeah, great. Woohoo!
Yeah, woo, yeah, let's go.
If CBD does lose, you know who to blame, yeah?
I would say you can only blame yourself, and that's coming from someone that has already been knocked out of the league that they're playing in, so
Damn.
we'll see. You can always make excuses, though. That's a little easier to palate sometimes. Kikowo walking down middle. Spotted on the cross by the Sova. Marpandi's beautiful punish. There's another player here, though. Envious hasn't been cleared out yet. Well traded. That's good stuff from the Sova. And a player advantage now for LILAX.
Cole potentially had taken up a little bit too much space there, resulting in both their deaths, but Envious, a bit sharp, especially since she had shifted over to this Omen. Perhaps less pressure on her shoulders. As the shift comes through here for the members of LILAX, all eyes onto A site. Quite a lot of time to play with, clearing all their angles and corners. Scenario, unfortunately, this game isn't able to go as aggressive as she wants to, but with this neural theft, gonna be displacing all the members of CBD, going a little bit more passive and opting to go for that retake.
Spike planted.
It's about damage now. Trading out Mimo in middle is nice. That's another rifle hitting the deck. 2 players trying to attempt this retake from short. Out goes Dizzy. Fault lines exchanged. They're going nowhere fast. Mosh trying to zone that player back and create an opportunity for LP to find an entry. 2-on-2 now, and Wingman going onto the spike tash.
Marpandi's will be great for that wraparound. Noting her presence here, but her teammate is there just to go in for that trade. A tap forward, Jalera actually got forward, but the short D, surprise, surprise, from that corner. Jalera does it once and twice, and she does it again.
Have you met my friend Shaw, Tash? Shorty.
Shorty.
Shorty. Shorty.
As I remember correctly, you're a pretty tall person, though.
No more.
I'm like mid-height. I'm like very average.
One enemy remains.
But coming into this one, I think it's really impressive seeing up forward. Yes, they can isolate these fights, but she didn't take into account of that shorty being pulled out of the pocket here.
There.
Fortunately, not able to convert that bonus, so still very
You
much
gotta be
alive
careful.
for LILAX.
Jelorak is strapped. That's what I've learned. CBD. They're taking out this A main control, getting contested pretty heavily though. Standfire punishing. Senderi going down. No smokes left here for the attacking side, and they're getting chased by a Thrash Tash.
Yes, they are! All this util jumps forward, and Kikowo takes full advantage of that. Unfortunately, her Payshel's will just dinked over into the raw trajectory, unfortunately. But for now, 2-on-5, perhaps a call to save might be wise here. Mimo all alone onto tiles. Well, does she know right side by side is someone else? Bringing around the Rosie, hasn't noted their presence quite yet. Jalera, all alone. Rushing up forward, Thrash coming through, doesn't want to get caught. That's unfortunately not able to break it. Straight
Spike
into
down.
Envious crossfire. As Mimo, last man standing, swaps out that gun. I think they hurt her there. Holding, Kikowo is here. Mimo, sharper. Still making her way onto the other area. Protocols forward here, making sure to guard the spike with their lives.
30
Utility
seconds
is still
left.
in hand, but what can you do here?
Save. Or go next. Do some damage to the economy, maybe. Get a neural theft. Find a new apartment. I don't know. What would you do, Tash?
Probably hide in the corner and cry,
10
but
seconds left.
time running out. Mimo, only able to survive, wants to be able to do so. The second half has been problems for LILAX and Lotus, and now on Sunset. They need to do something fast.
Yeah, their attacker side has been a problem, that's for sure. CBD is punishing that. Contesting that A main control very heavily. They've got that is the strength of this comp. You're playing Breach, Gecko, Omen, Raze. These are all characters that can just, with the reactive utility, absolutely bully you out of an area. You are not, if the defense does not want to let you have A, you are not getting into A. You're just not.
Truly. CBD, I think both these teams playing very, very similar styles of play. Less on aggression, more on reaction onto the defense side. Mid area of contention, once again, we've seen some insane thrifties, especially for today. Both very close and quickly reacts onto that. Takes a fair bit of damage, but does that really matter? Yes, it does. With two players holding down the line, understand that Kiko loves to play a little bit more aggressive. They are patient and they wait. Was exactly where Nuki is, and yes, puts in a fair bit of pressure onto mid area. She too has to give up that space. Pain Shells just denies her that area. And both teams just moving backwards, retreating for a while longer.
I like this for LILAX. Going back towards A, the Clove can smoke the entirety of the site from where she died, close to elbow there, so smart to pivot back there. Dart's going to clear out elbow. In the meanwhile, CBD's getting a lot of info across the map, and they've got a good rotation timing towards short here.
Utilities all around, just denying space from Ali. Yuki eyes on to the area of drop, finds one, Envious to trade. Envious, sharp as ever on that Omen. The most aggressive Omen players here in GC. See as Yuki plays for two. And then we're alone. The flash is gone. And Sapphire jumps out of the way. How is she able to do that? Yuki is so low. Aftershock to buy her some time in that corner. Pain Shell's traded out here. She's so low, 7 HP. Waiting for the right moment. She goes and tries to go for that redefuse. One more time, tries to displace her with those satchels, but the swing out, and Sapphire wins out in the end. With only 7 HP, Sapphire showing us what dominance looks like.
Oh, that was crazy. That was like PTSD for me, Tash. We were both at an event in Manila, and in that event at 11-12, one of my players satcheled someone, thought they satcheled someone off the spike, and it didn't push them far enough away, and they just ninja defused, and I thought we were about to see the same thing. I was getting really triggered for a second. But that was crazy, that 1v1. Like, the paint shells coming back up, the showstopper, doing classic showstopper things. But, you know, what is it? How many? Can I count? Is that 8 or 9 ult orbs? I can't remember, but it only does 100 damage, and it doesn't kill people, so is it worth it? I don't know.
Truly. That forces a timeout from LILAX. Look at that, out of the 5 rounds played in the second half, majority going to Tartboard Dinosaur. Basically, both teams just feeding each other a taste of their own medicine. Less on aggression, more on reaction. Both teams kind of like denying each other the chance to fight on these early rounds. Just retakes all around for both these teams, impeccable.
That's a good attempt from LILAX, has to be said, after how that round started.
That goes there.
And that's one of those things where it's like, not something I think about that often because I don't really see that much Clove, but yeah, if your Clove dies in front of elbow, it does make sense to just go A.
Yes, this should do.
It's one of the strengths of the agent that, you know, doesn't always come into play, but dying, tactically feeding in the right position, very good. It turns out.
Still holding. There's aggression coming in from CBD this time. They try to fight for B main. It tilts all around just to really deny space. This allowing Kiko to play off her teammates. And despite all that util, she goes aggressive. Showstopper popped already, throws it out. Spots us in Dairy, takes her out, and so does Yuki to get her. Trades, great. Usage all around. Notes out Sapphire. Does she know that Elfie is close? The Roomba doesn't. Looking terrifying. They note her out as well. Every corner checked out. Due diligence done. Pigroto fights Bimo. It's all the skirmishes all around the map here. It's all down to fundamentals as the sprays come through, and Yuki blinded, but not before she takes out Envious. And here comes the Rolling Thunder to just really deny that plant. Swinging out into the side itself. Pigroto and Sapphire for 1 each. Great play coming in from CBD, equalizing a 9-9. Happening way too many times. CBD catching up in the end. No matter how big the round differential you have ahead of them, they come back.
Yeah, they're really, really good at changing up their setup as well. Like putting the Cypher on the weak side and playing 3 towards A. Previously shutting down that A play and this time over towards B main. They're really keeping LILAX guessing about, you know, where their setup is, which side is the strong side. And it's been working a treat for them. Back down onto another half buy for LILAX here, but you've got a couple of players who are forcing straight down tiles though. Kiko in combination with the paranoia putting a lot of pressure on. That's the second time she's paint shelled off the wall, but we won't talk about that because she's fragging out of control.
Giving me a deja vu of that Jing ace coming into from this map previously. Kiko holding Marpani's reading her like a book, but Kiko is the one to come up on top. Shorty in hand here, playing inside of the smokes. Just trying to go for that punish if anyone were to push through. And yes, good replace placement, rolling thunder to come through. Prigruto just quickly reacting, and so does Envious. But Sundari still being a thorn in everyone's side. Noted for that, Kiko so low right now. But I don't think she's gonna try and go for that pickup as they go for this refuse. Taking away another round.
Yeah, 10's up for CBD. And I'm getting deja vu, to be honest. Back towards Lotus. After a bit of a lackluster first half, they are making a massive comeback. Very one-sided half on defense here. LILAX just does not seem to have the same ability to string these rounds together as they do when they're on their own defense.
Looking terrifying for LILAX. I really gotta give it to CBD. One of the strongest mental resilience and fortitude I've seen so far. Bit late, but better late than never is what they say.
Ops out for Elfie now. And she's posted up over towards B. Got to be careful not to overstep as Mimo. She could be losing this first pick early on. Just jiggling, shouldering her way around. LILAX walking their way up middle. Fault line in preparation. Does
dangerous game.
but you can't chase her down. Good stuff. Great punish on the top mid play there from CBD.
Envious. Looking really good, especially this third map. Finds
Spike down.
elbow. Wasn't in knee of one player. Sundari answers back at least. Neural theft, counter forward, trying to go for a wide swing, will be taken out. Envious one by one, tapping, finally goes down. Prigruto is here to answer back. Run for her life, will be found at the end. Sundari back in the game once again. Pick me up used, just to give herself a little bit of an overheal, bit of a shield. Nowhere close to that spike. But she doesn't know that both players aren't really close. Trying to go for a crossfire from main as well as mid area itself. Sundari eyes onto Elfie, but close to the right side. Can't do more. Kiko was ready for her.
Yeah, 11's up for CBD now. Op retained as well. Great stuff on the top mid punish there. It just feels like positionally they are able to put themselves in the right setup to deal with whatever, you know, LILAX is throwing at them. Like this round, took that B main control. They're leaving the Cypher solo on A on the weak side once again, and the rest of the players are able to reactively respond to this mid threat, which is exactly how you want to play this comp. You know, you've got the Gecko, Raise, Breach, like I mentioned, the Paranoia. This is all great reactive utility.
That is aggression to Kiko. Despite being a recon, she does not care. She takes this fight head on. Paige shells to buy a little bit more space. Look at how many utils just to clear her out of the site itself. But she's patient. One more satchel to work with, a Roomba in hand. But no clue where they are. You can see the shadows, from the shadows, will be cancelled. Now, no duelists in sight, cannot get into the site as aggressively as she wants to, but Sundari is there. Envious punished for playing a little bit more aggressive, spots one more out. Kiko still holding on to the area alongside Samfire, but despite the gun despair for Andy's and Mimo, one each. Neural theft just to give them a little bit of an idea where everyone is, playing this corner to perfection. Notes where they are. The cam just go forward. Aziz rushes forward. Fortunately, not hitting anyone quite yet. Nemo with the spray is huge. Marpani's as well with that stinger. What is it about this stinger that does so well? What is it about these rounds with the gun disparity that makes them go forward? As LILAX still very much in this game. 10 to 11, CBD not able to hit match point quite yet.
Yeah, another half by one for them. missed opportunity for CBD to take that series point there in the lower bracket. Going to be kicking themselves, but still enough cash to be able to buy up into the next nuke. He's got the showstopper online now, though. Could be a great tool for LILAX to be using into the next one off the Hunter's Fury, and over on the CBD side of things, one off both the showstopper and the Thrash. A main control being patiently waited on by LILAX. There's the fault line up through elbow. They're trying to isolate Kikowo here, dodging the fault line and the aftershock very narrowly, but the trades are going for LILAX there.
Coming up forward, very aggressive. Both teams showing aggression, but very controlled from LILAX here. Now, Elfie shots all around just to see where the util would be. Finds nothing. Aldron goes all around. Zendari tries to put a bit more pressure. Nearly going down. Jalera to find Envious. As the utility goes up here. For 2 points. So careful with Figuruto on the side itself. They are the defenders of A side, and they are your first team to hit match points.
Match point.
Yeah, that's crazy. After how the initial exchange went in that round, just feels like they're able to kind of crunch the site together really, really well, and that is the strength of this comp. Like, look at how they're playing it, running on in with the Dizzy and flooding through short. You know, you can run in there with the Paranoia, with the fault line. See a lot of very, very strong teams on this map. Lean on that retake A with that Gecko util and the Breach util, the Omen util. Once again, same approach here for LILAX, but Showstopper straight down tiles.
Aggressive Ikowo. She's done it before. She wants to do it again. Pops that, finds no one. Very passive. Chip damage onto her. Undeterred. Still denying that space away from LILAX. CBD here. Full control of tiles area. A lot of pressure to come through. Samfire with the spray is going to find Nemo over on the other side. It's not done quite yet. The Roomba not spending up anyone. Yeah, it does. Enough information for them. But they still try to force their way onto the A side itself. They do. Finding no one. Flashed out. Yuki still very close. Here comes the Hunter's Fury. Here comes the Showstopper. And here comes the Thrash as well. Util dumps all around. And Gary with the run and gun. Finds Figuruto. Yuki with the Showstopper. And with that Bucky, they're trying to put in the damage. Hiko is still very much here. 3-on-3. The plants come out. Samfire gonna fight Yuki here. And here comes the Rolling Thunder as well. So many ults traded all around. Samfire with 3 to the name. Not dead yet. Will be popped here. Putting in a little bit of pressure. But on tail us, that is Kikowo with 2. And despite the chaos, CBD able to tie out the round. What a game. What a round. And what an end. But unfortunately, for one of these teams, for LILAX, has to say goodbye here. A valiant attempt, first time on the big stage, and they show us the world.
Yeah, they won the first map so cleanly, and they had a great start on Lotus. They even had, you know, a good run of things in the first half here on Sunset. It felt like the game was theirs on a silver platter, but you got to give credit where credit's due. That's experience from the side of CBD. That's a bunch of players that have played games where they've had their backs to the wall previously, and this time, despite having slow starts in all 3 maps, they're not going to go down. They're going to continue along in the lower bracket and have a crack to try to go over to Thailand for the Pacific land if they can qualify.
Yeah, trying very hard, but Tall Order coming in this season has one of the most competitive teams we've seen so far. But the breakdown is happening here. So Jen and Colden, on to you guys.
Hello, and CBD, they live to see another day. Unfortunately, for LILAX, their journey ends here. But Sunset, pretty much the same story as Lotus, of course. CBD with that huge comeback to close it out and, you know, move on with their lower bracket run.
Yeah, it really does seem like CBD are a defensive-sided team, I guess you could say. I'm making those comebacks on the defense side, obviously, on both of those maps. But yeah, it really does seem like they are a completely different team when they're playing on defense. It's so funny to me because even though they're playing on defense, even though they're a bit more reactive, they're still going for very aggressive plays, right? You see Kikowo always sending it down with a showstopper down towards mid or tiles, towards A main or B main. And they're getting the access they want, they're getting the success that they need. But funnily enough, on the attacking side is where they can't really convert that kind of aggression. So it's interesting. It's an interesting case to be examined. I guess you could go further in depth and really find out what makes CBD work or doesn't work. But you can look at the scoreboard right here as well. Clearly, I mean, Kiko top of the scoreboard. 23 and 18, 7 first bloods. She was really the one that was cracking open those sites for retakes, getting aggressive on the defensive side as well. And credit to her, she put up a fantastic performance.
And Samfire as well. She's someone that really stood out, especially in a situation where if she lost those clutch rounds, then it would have easily LILAX taking the map. But over and over, Samfire just knows how to clutch, knows how to stay calm and collected, and take away the rounds.
Yeah, and again, I think it comes down to the utility. I really like the util that CBD were using for those retakes, for those aggressive pushes. You always see either a Gecko flash, a stun, a flash from the breach. The paranoia comes in as well. And you can see that communication always coming through constantly for the CBD side. LILAX, though, on the other hand, stumbled quite a bit in the second half. They really couldn't find their footing at all. Had a couple of scrappy rounds here and there, but I think CBD really managed to control where they wanted LILAX to execute to sites. And they were very much comfortable playing retake on A side. Like, they had the protocols in place, they had all the util available, and that is just the recipe for a really strong half.
The defenders of A side, as Tash Bunny put it. But as you can see, we saw a lot of duels happening and kills happening on the A side, but CBD able to hold their line when it mattered.
Yeah, you can see a couple of those kills that happened towards B main and A main as well. And that was when Cover Dinosaur decided to be aggressive, decided to take the fight to them. Other than that, their side holds and their retakes, you can see mostly centered towards the side itself, mid portion of the map. They were able to shut down any, aggression that came in that direction, even though sometimes, they took control of mid, but they were fast on the response as well. And, see some rounds going in the favor of LILAX, but at the end of the day, they win out the rounds that were most important. Take that series 13-10, and very much
Kiko will, of course. Let's talk about her a little bit more, because I think 40% on headshot is insane.
It is a pretty insane stat line, especially considering how scrappy these games were. I think both of the Razors on both sides really put up a fantastic performance, but Kiko was presence with the util in hand from her teammates, I think that was what made her so scary, because she was always backed up by either a flash or a stun or something that's going to throw you off.
CBD feeling comfortable on knowing how to enable or activate Kiko, make sure she gets enough support to pick up those kills and create space. Let's take a look at the highlight a little bit more.
I can see how the map kind of started out. Again, I can't believe it's so similar to Lotus, right? Where LILAX actually had a great start. They found so much momentum, and they were just playing like it's almost ranked. But then, CBD, they hunkered down. They found what they needed to get. Like all of these fights, you can see so much great utility coming in before they take those fights. And I mean, credit this flash as well. There's always something. There's always something to come in.
Always something to plug off LILAX, right?
Yeah. Again, look at this, the breach aftershock. These are kinds of fights that really forced LILAX to be respectful of A main, not to go for fast pushes. They tried aggression towards A main, then they tried aggression towards B main, anchoring on the side as well. Very dynamic with the teleports coming through. See, there's another flash coming in when they want to take a fight. So this is the real story coming in for Cowboy Dinosaur. The resilience when it gets tough. We saw that up against Invincible GZ, and we're seeing it here again up against LILAX.
Smart with their utils and also with their timings, knowing how to pick their duels and those fights, and thus CBD get that W, and they can continue their run in the lower bracket. We have an interview standby with Elfie. Is it ready now? Okay, not yet. All right.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, Elfie is like one of the X factors, I would say. I think she was in a couple of Game Changers teams, but never really had that kind of success. She put up crazy numbers in the qualifiers, though. Whenever I go to see like the stats page for the Game Changers qualifiers, she's always near the top, right? But her team was never able to kind of make it to playoffs. But now she's found a squad that can really, back her up. You got Kiko Wo as the newest player as well. So I'm really excited to see her opinions, like her thoughts on the team and how the tournament has panned out so far.
Great. We can ask that when she's ready, but sad to say that LILAX will be out of contention and their journey ends here, and we're saying goodbye to a cat logo team. Hurts me so
yeah,
much.
that is truly
It's
a
so
loss,
cute.
a grave loss. I think it's a bit sad as well because they are a Thai team, and so it would have been really cool if they managed to get to land to Bangkok, but unfortunately, maybe they can go as viewers. Okay, that's yeah. You can go and see their
Okay.
friends still, maybe, or the enemies, I guess, depending on how they're viewing things. But yeah,
But yeah, 3 maps as well for the second series.
yeah, it's
Oh, okay,
Oh,
we
we-
have Sapphire for the interview, so let's head right over to Sapphire and see how she feels about today's match. Now, congratulations, Sapphire!
Thank you.
I feel like today was a grueling day for you guys playing all 3 maps. So just talk to
Yeah.
us about what you guys were going through for the past, I think, 3 hours or so.
Well, for us, it's always the first map that I don't know, it's like a warm-up game for us. And it's always a disaster. It's on the first map. And then the second map, we tried to reset, even though at the first half, we were like, what to do? We're getting headaches. And then reset again for the second half, and we got it. And thank God, on the third map, we managed to get our mental ready, and then we got it.
So Icebox was just a matter of slow starts, I guess, as you were saying. But speaking of mentally resetting, you guys had to play from deficit both on Lotus and Sunset, and it's easier being said than done. You know, when you're behind, especially in an elimination match, that's when the pressure kicks in. So, was there any moment when you were like, "Oh my God, we might lose," or "Oh my God, what if we drop this?" Was there any kind of pressure or anxiety coming in?
I think individually, we all have something in mind that, oh no, are we gonna lose? But still, we have in our team that goes like reset, we got this, something like that. So it would keep our vibes as a team together and keep up again.
Well, thank you. Colton, do you want to add any questions?
of course, I have to ask Empire. I mean, there was one moment on Sunset where if you lost that clutch, the entire map could have been different, the result could have been different. What was going through your mind when you hear the showstopper being popped, and then you kind of just do a somersault in the air, avoid it, and then still manage to get the clutch at the end? Like, what was going through your mind? What was the comms like in your team?
Well, for me, I was quiet because I'm trying to focus on what's going on, and I think we were quiet on that round. It's just like the ones who's on the back, they were screaming. Some of them are screaming. The rest were quiet.
You need to go back and watch it from a third-person perspective, and you will be screaming as well. With that in mind, we have Forfan and Avernus coming up for the next matchup, and the winner of that match will be facing you guys. Do you have a preference, or can we get your predictions on how things are going to go down for the next matchup?
I believe Forfan will win against them. I mean, Avernus. And yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see if Forfan can. Yeah.
Can I steal the last question as well?
Sure.
Okay, just a fast one, I guess. But like, how did you form this team, right? I think you were formerly Mummy's Kittens, and then you picked up Kikowo, and she's been an incredible star, especially in this series. Like, how was that process like to find that player and then bring it in and incorporate into your team?
Well, it was actually a very long progress on that. It's like we keep trialing lots of girls, and we got Kiko like in the last minute. That's why we only get a chance to practice with her like probably less than a week.
Ooh. That's
what a great pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
We all agree. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, after today, I mean, she came in on the Killjoy and then opted for the raise on both the last 2 matches, and then really popped off crazily. Yeah.
You guys,
yes, congratulations.
Congratulations. I mean, you guys gambled, went from kitten to dinosaur, and won today. So congratulations once again. Thank you for the interview. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Can I say one
Bye.
more?
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
Miss Jenly, I'm a big fan.
Oh, thank you.
What? A fan.
What about
Don't worry,
Conan?
I'm a fan. I'm a big fan too.
I'm a big fan of you too.
Oh, thank you, Sapphire.
Thank you.
Bye, bye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How sweet. I have a big fan who knows how to somersault her way.
Would you put me on the
out
spot?
of
You gave her pressure. You gave her pressure. You know.
Well, how
I want
did
it
I give her
authentic.
pressure?
I want it authentic from the heart. You know. I thought you were asking if I'm a fan of you, and I was like, yeah, of course.
Oh,
Because I'm a fan of
okay.
Jen. Yeah.
No. Yeah. We all know it wasn't authentic, but you know, one day maybe Sapphire
Maybe.
will acknowledge you. Fun interview with Sapphire, with CBD, keeping themselves alive in the contention. Now, next up, we have another elimination coming up. For Fun versus Avernus. Now, Sapphire said her money is on For Fun. We have to go see how that's going to pan out. But first of all, let's take a short break and come back for the last matchup of the day. We'll see you soon.